Hey.
Okay, spirit fingers.
Boom, boom. It's Monday night. Okay, that's why I say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Okay.
How are y'all doing on this lovely Monday night?
Fabulous, darling. Absolutely fabulous. Listen, we're losing people by the minute.
I was about to say the bloop.
What happened? Listen.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're waiting on Jay Lee. She's a little late. Little family situation. We're waiting on her. Child, look at me. Look at me acting like you know who, telling y'all what's going on in people's personal life. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Necey.
You might be saying everything that be on my mind already. I cannot. So, y'all, on this wonderful Monday, for those of you who don't know, it's 11/11 Scorpio season. I call the whole Scorpio season 11/11 because it's my birthday. So for the sake of me having time off for my birthday, I am celebrating my birthday today with y'all and with the girls for Ooh Ladies First Night on Monday.
Listen, so, what is one? The devil is a liar on this Good Monday. We were trying to come to y'all with the bullshit.
He said, y'all trying to switch it up. I'm gonna fuck up y'all's internet.
Okay, listen. Bullshit.
So yes, y'all, the other ladies are coming. So I want to wait for them to do an official toast, but I'm gonna stick my one for now.
You guys. We were, however, backstage. Ha ha!
There we go. Sorry, guys. The audio was going slow. I think it was my headphones, but we're back. Sorry about that.
Okay. Because, we could have, but we didn't want to. Thank you.
No, and thank y'all for the happy early birthdays. Do it like it's my B-Day. Baby, I should have done a whole little TikTok to it.
Do it like a yo B-Day, baby. Like a yo B-Day. Jocelyn's Cabaret.
So yeah, we were just talking backstage about how long we've been doing the panel. It's been a whole 8 months, about to be 9 months at this point. And as I reflect on my year of life, I'm like thinking about everything that has happened within the past year. Y'all know I started the YouTube channel in the middle of the pandemic. Then somehow the internet wanted all of us to start this show. Right.
Yup.
On top of everything that was happening in my personal life too, which has been great. I'm like 26 going into 27 has just been like, I don't know. I would have even picked this year for myself. Like I probably would have imagined it, but I didn't think that everything that I wrote down was going to happen. And it did. So I'm feeling blessed and blessed to be around y'all.
Girl, I love when the girls manifest and write the shit down and it gets real,
Absolutely.
Always.
I agree with that.
Write it down and pray on it. So
I was just saying that I actually did that for us. And I posted on Twitter today and on my Instagram saying that I was so grateful for the women that I have surrounded myself with, because I really did. Once I quit my job at the news station to do YouTube full time, one of the prayers and manifestations for myself was to be surrounded by people or have friends and associates that were in my same line of business, doing well for themselves, successful, but women who were doing well so that we were all, either learning from each other, people above me, people that were growing with me. Like I wanted that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And since then, hey, Jay Lee.
Hey, Jay Lee. What's up, girl?
Right? You muted.
Hey, y'all.
What's up?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Well, Thursday, but today.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to celebrate the whole week. We'll celebrate the whole month if my sister's birthday went at the end of the month, so I got to let her have it.
Okay.
I was just, Jaylee, I was just telling them how grateful I am because I manifested and prayed for the clique of chicks, okay, that are winning and supportive and positive and thriving and successful and driven and, just about they ish. And, us being in this little group has definitely solidified that. So, like, cheers to Necey and her birthday, and cheers to the Ooh Ladies first panel, because y'all ain't done with this black girl magic. Shout out to Roxanne, okay?
Click.
Y'all ain't gonna see enough. Clickety clink, clink, clink.
We gonna have it every time.
What's up, chat? What's up, moderators? We see you guys.
I know. Shout out to the moderators and shout out to the other Scorpios as well. Okay. Well, y'all ready to get on into this show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get her done. We're going to start out with some questions. This first one, I felt myself going back and forth with a lot of friends and family because Mariah Carey posted her video as soon as November 1st hit. She smashed the pumpkins and everybody started putting up their Christmas trees. And I'm like, hold on. Do we have to wait until after Thanksgiving, or can you put up your Christmas trees right after Halloween? What do y'all think?
Ooh. I feel like Walmart put their stuff up damn near before Halloween can be out. Okay, so I know it clearly is okay to go ahead and get it started early. There's nothing wrong with that.
See, in my household, we didn't do early. We did late and kept it up longer because in New Orleans, they'll put Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day. They will dress a Christmas tree up until the seasons are over, honey. Okay, Easter egg around the tree. Child, they'll do that. Look, people in my family are good for holding on to a Christmas tree guard. Okay, they just change out the colors. Mardi Gras, you put your purple, green, and gold on there, and your Christmas tree. Yeah,
that makes sense though.
We're good for that. But honestly, the older I get, the more I really do like to see the Christmas decorations mixed in with like the pumpkins and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like it's okay to put up the Christmas tree for Thanksgiving as long as you're still kind of keeping the same kind of fall motif going. But I've seen more of it as I've gotten older than I used to when I was a kid. Like before, it was like a no-no. It's after Thanksgiving.
I feel like it should be after Thanksgiving. Give Thanksgiving its own time frame to like be thankful, and like the day after Thanksgiving, then put up the Christmas stuff. Because I feel like we go from Halloween to Christmas. It's like, wait a minute, it's the whole month in between. And I'm also I was something on my own. I do not put up trees in my own house. My mama do, my sister do, but I'm like, I got kids, that make no sense. So I hate when I go to somebody else's house. I'm like, why the tree up in the turkey right there? There's a pumpkin. It don't go together. It should be separate. So like the day after Thanksgiving, it's like, okay, fully put a tree up on that Friday. But stop being with Thanksgiving. Stop being disrespectful. This is a stepchild. Nobody care about it. It's like give me some turkey, some ham, and that's it.
With respect to the now historical context of said day, it should be a stepchild. We thankful, but at the same time, the fuck?
Yeah, but I'm like, I think it's just weird how it really goes from Halloween to Christmas. It's really no in between. And then it goes from that to the New Year's, and it's like then it's St. Patrick's Day. It just goes by so quick.
You skip down
those days. Not straight to St. Patrick's Day. I know, right?
Who even thinks about St. Patrick's Day?
I do, because my nephew's birthday is always St. Patrick's, so I'm always like, that's a holiday for us.
There's a parade here. Sense. There's a whole parade, a whole situation for St. Patrick's Day down here. So yeah.
Well, first I have to say thank you for the super chat, Queen RN. Happy early birthday, Necey. I love your hair. Thank you, girl. Try to do the switch up. But we have a parade here too in Dallas. I'm sure it ain't nothing like y'all's parade. It ain't nothing but a bunch of red-faced people. People red in the face from drinking so much beer outside. I done went to a couple of them, and then I'm just like, you know what? This ain't for me.
I'm gonna tell you, it has that tone. It definitely has that uptown white people tone to it. But you can't do nothing in New Orleans without black people being involved. We won't allow it. So ultimately, we be out there in green too. And I just sometimes I'm confused because I'm like, what this got to do with us? But now that I understand the history amongst Irish and Africans, now it's kind of like, child, you don't know if you got my blood and you are not anyway. So I might as well show up and be at the party. Move out the way.
Oh, facts. Facts, everybody, down to last names. Let's not go there. Woo! Oh my gosh, I gotta tell y'all about a story. It was funny. So I was at work talking to a coworker, and he says, yeah, my wife, she's traveling to Boston because she found out that's where her family was from, like back in the 1700s. And he was like, I would never do that. Who would waste vacation doing that to find out where your family was from in the 1700s? I was like, I would. And it was so awkward. It was so awkward. It was like something that you would have seen like on Twitter. But I was shocked because I was, of course.
Oh, so that's why he didn't get the historical context of wanting to know what the past is because people have stolen it from you. Got you.
Ooh.
Of course. I was like, dang, this is awkward. But you did it. Oh, well. So, all right. My next question for y'all. What more do you want from him?
Nope.
What do you want from Martell?
Everything, nigga. Blood. I want blood from you. Yeah,
so my next question for y'all, we're gonna talk about the episode later on, but this part of the episode brought up a good question. If you discover, or if you're put onto a restaurant by an old friend, an ex, and y'all break up, is that y'all's restaurant still, or is that now your restaurant?
Who owns it? Do I own it? Does he own it?
Nobody owns it.
If we don't own it, then it's for the people. It's for whoever. It's like community dick. Anybody can go and get it. It's like, I think it's weird to say it's mine, or I'm like, it's it's a place. I don't get the whole like it's ours. It's like, unless y'all built a house together and y'all separate, and that can be something. But I'm like, the people own that place. Martell is full of shit, and I don't see why he feels as if that's our y'all didn't buy that. Y'all didn't pay for that. Y'all don't own that. That ain't yours or hers. It's the people's. Anybody can go.
He petty as fuck. That's all that is. Him being petty. Anybody that's arguing with you about something like that is being petty and wants to argue with you about the fact that they can't be with you when they really, really want to, and you just won't take them back. Like, that's what this is about. This is not about a fucking restaurant.
Yes, y'all are right. I get what y'all are saying. But I have been Martell before, and when it comes to that space, I have. It was a restaurant I was like obsessed with, and I swear to y'all, I was going like every week, almost twice a week, and they should have sponsored me. And it wasn't no ex situation, but anytime I saw somebody else post a restaurant, I'd be like, "You got that from me,"
Yes, I do. I do feel like that often about things. Like, everybody singing, do it like it's my B-Day, and everybody paying attention to Jocelyn's song now. I'm like, every time I hear y'all, I'm like, the only reason niggas is paying attention to that shit is because I was singing that shit in my videos, because y'all was not paying attention to that shit when it first came out, because it's been the theme song for her show that whole time, and y'all didn't give a fuck about it when they was talking about double homicide and all of that. Nobody cared about the song until I was in the videos. Do it like it might be day. And then all of a sudden, everybody want to do it like it's they be day. But it's all right. I see y'all. It's cool.
Hilarious. I felt like, no, it's not your restaurant anymore, right? Just because it was y'all's together, once you break up, it's not y'all's anymore. But I also feel like if this was a restaurant that me and my guy always went to when we broke up, I'm probably not going to want to take nobody else there because I don't want to think about those memories. I'm probably going to find me a new restaurant. I mean, unless I just got like a desire just to eat there.
It was really good food though.
If it's really, really good and it's that spot, then, I'll go. But I would probably be like, nah, let me take you somewhere else. Let's go somewhere else. Let's make a new favorite spot.
Yeah, I'm not
just so making that same spot.
No. I'm not giving up no food.
Like,
not that food everywhere though.
I might just order something different on the menu.
But I'm not going to not go to a restaurant just because you may go there as well. We end up there at the same time, then you're supposed to act like you don't see me until you see me. You say, hey, I say, hey, and then you move on about your way. You don't come over and tell me that I'm not supposed to be here with nobody because we used to go to this restaurant.
Gas station.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here.
Walmart. That's my favorite Rite Aid. It's like no, we're in the same city. So I think there are things you can say like, okay, only with houses, don't like that's our house. That part I get. Don't bring. I would have got if Martell would have been upset if there was an old house and it got up the middle. Okay, maybe because it's a restaurant that no one owns except the owner. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna sit in different booths and maybe I'll get a different glass of water or whatever. But I'm gonna
get a different glass of water.
I'm gonna keep going there. I think it's weird to give up things based on who you used to date because if that's the case, it's so much you can't do because y'all did so much. So I don't want to give up my favorite little steak and lobster place or my favorite drinking place because I went with him. I'm making some new memories.
I'm gonna order something different and change my taste buds. You know how those different things be connected to memories.
And if you have me there too, pay for our meal.
Oh yes. Thank you for the super chat, Shayna Martin. She says, you ladies give me life. Loving the vibes, queens. I'm a follower of you all individually and as a collective. Peace and love.
Because we're the collective.
We are do it like the panel. I always have to say it like that. Y'all, we need to.
That's how I type
we gonna talk about this backstage. I think we need to work on merch. That's our 1 year. We should. Yes.
Oh, it will be a year. Damn, it's almost been a year.
Right after the holidays, it's gonna be 1 year. We're gonna have to come with it.
I think so. I think I got an idea for that.
For season 3.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll discuss that backstage. We can't give too much, or else somebody gonna pick it up. They're gonna pick it up and flip it and reverse it. All right. Let's get into game time. All right. So I made the mistake of getting these pictures from all of you in a group chat. So y'all cannot guess who's who. But this is also of a game for our viewers, okay? And like I said, since this is like the birthday live, I have to go back to the beginning compared to where we are now. At the beginning, we talked about reflecting on how far we've come, our friendship and everything else. So let's go back to the beginning. I want the people in the comments to guess who. We're going to play a game of guess who, okay? First one. Who is this little girl? Let's see what they're going to say in the comments.
It take a moment for something. I'm gonna go on YouTube and look at it.
All right. Tina Marie. She's the first person. She says Bondy. Everybody. They go on first name.
Bondy, Brittany.
She says Jamie.
I didn't see Jamie.
Okay.
Somebody's phone vibrated, came in at the wrong time. At the right time for the wrong answer. No, ma'am.
Oh, right. Boom.
I'm hoping to see Bondies.
The answer to that is Bondy. Sweet Bondy. Girl, I could have just grabbed your whole cheeks.
Look at them pigtails.
With the little Minnie Mouse.
So, you're muted.
I should have gave y'all a younger one, but the look on my face is hilarious to me in this picture. So, yeah.
You looking stinky like you're gonna do something to somebody real quick and then not get caught for it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get your ass a little later. That's what it look like.
She looking happy like she got the toy she wanted.
Right. Yeah, I probably like did.
Black girl joy.
Yes.
Is what you looking like.
With a bang.
How old were you in this picture? Do you know?
Oh, probably like around 4 or 5.
So cute.
Baby Bondy.
All right, we're gonna move on.
5 or 6. 5 or 6 for sure. 5 or 6.
What made you think that?
Cause when I was about 6, that's probably when my hair was this length. Child, Tanya gave me a perm early, girl.
Oh, same. My mama was like, nah, your hair too difficult. You gonna have to get a perm. My younger sister, she waited a little while, got one like the next year. I was like, dang, my hair really that rough? Then our big shop went natural. Hairstylist was like, you gonna have to use this product. Your sister can use that product. I'm like, dang, okay.
Second of perm, so I was in middle school? I think I can go when I was in like the 6th grade, so whatever age that is, a teenager or whatever. The teenager? It was the 90s, I don't know.
Girl, early. When I tell you there's a picture of my mama like trying to comb my hair when I might have been like 3. Child, my arms hurt looking at it. I was just like, all right, if that's what you felt like you had to do.
And don't let a black mama comb your hair when she mad at somebody. Like, I ain't do nothing to you. Calm down.
Okay. I am tender-headed.
All right. Next person. Who is this? Come through, chat.
I know who this is.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. I know who this is.
First comment. Oh, that's not the first one, but we see Jay Lee. We see Jamie. A majority of the people are saying Jamie. I'm definitely seeing some Jay Lees here.
How can put into this? What I do?
I'm definitely seeing some Jay Lees here. It's split. Blue, this is sweet.
That is baby Jamie.
Hilarious.
Embarrassing. You look like you was ready to say that. You was ready to say that.
They said button nose, Jamie. How you doing hands?
I wonder what I was doing in that picture. I have to ask my mama what was going on. Maybe somebody was.
That's what it's giving.
That's what it's giving.
How you doing? You was ready for the camera.
That's a newborn picture.
It is. Do you know how old you think you were? Were you fresh? You weren't fresh. You had to be a couple months.
Fresh. I think so. I'm thinking like 3, but I don't know. I gotta ask.
Right. Okay. Who is it?
Clearly.
Every black person got the same baby picture. They funny. The same baby picture as Jamie.
Yeah.
Because I think that pose are with the same thing.
This one was easy for the people.
Easy.
Because I looked the same.
One person said Necey. I mean, it could pass me.
It could.
Some people one person said Necey, Jay Lee. Okay. Is it me or is it Jay Lee?
My face ain't never changed.
Jay Lee.
We all look the same. I like,
I don't think my face changed at all either. I think I look exactly the same.
Somebody else said Necey. That's funny.
Our names round. I think we look alike as babies.
Right. I couldn't find like my baby picture. I guess I'm the last one. The people gonna know it's me.
Oh yeah.
Here I go.
Oh yeah, that's you.
That's you.
That is you.
Look at the exact same. My nephew was like, "Oh my gosh, you look like a kid with an adult head on a kid's body."
What?
He said that in all my pictures. He is right.
Now you just always had them cheekbones. That's what that is. Necey always had them cheekbones, baby. Okay.
Them jaws.
Okay. Listen.
Why they said my picture was old, so the quality of mine means it was me. Because I'm the oldest. But see, I had some other old ones.
I was old as hell too.
But I had some older ones, but they look like
you can tell. Picture looks like it's from the 80s. Like, what are we talking about?
I was about to say that. Y'all couldn't see the whole couch in the background, but the printed couch. I had to be in this picture. I was a big kid, so I wouldn't be surprised if I was like 3 or 4 in this picture. So that would have been like 97, 98, and they had this old couch.
Yeah, they
I was like 2 or 3 in mine.
That's the old people furniture in the late 90s.
Mine was like 86.
If there would have been something leather there, then I would have felt differently. But that's giving 80s grandma house. So yeah. We all have that, yeah.
We all do. Okay, we will move on to our next segment. Okay, I guess we're gonna title it. All right, y'all. So this is our advice segment. We had a letter from one of our followers, and this is a picture I chose. This is a picture I chose because she signed her letter as tired grandma, and she sounded stressed. So I went on the internet and I searched stressed African American grandma. This is what it was giving. So it was quite a long letter, but I feel like I need to give y'all some of the details because that'll give y'all context as to what type of advice she needs. Okay. So I'm gonna go through it. All right. So the subject is called Daughter-in-Law from Hell. She says, my son has been through his share of women. He has 2 kids and one on the way with his new girlfriend. I try to be supportive of all my kids and the people they choose. However, this one is pissing me the hell off. Keep in mind, y'all, the subject line is daughter-in-law from hell. So she says now her son has a set of Irish twins and one on the way. Ever since her son has been dating this woman, everything has been going downhill. They've done things to support him by keeping him on his insurance. He's always keeping him on their insurance. He's always paid his own bills. He was present with his first 2 kids in the beginning. Now he is no longer as present because the first baby mama is always arguing with the new girlfriend on Facebook, which the stressed grandma feels is very embarrassing because her friends and family can see it everywhere on Facebook. So she says that now the first baby mama doesn't allow him around the kids. This new girlfriend has her own set of kids, and she gets upset when her boyfriend does not, I guess, assert himself when it comes to her children. So as the grandma, she has to keep reminding him, these aren't your kids, these are her kids. So it's so much she has to say. She says the house is dirty. She says her son is living like a bum, and she couldn't even get a cup of water from their house. That's how nasty their house is. She says that the girl's car is gone now. She depends on her son for everything, but she does work. Her other kids are tired of her as well because they find that anytime they try to talk to their brother, the new girlfriend, future baby mama, always tries to insert herself in the conversation. So it sounds like the entire family is tired of this baby mama. And she says now that they're adding another baby into this mess, she does not know what to do. So she's asking us, what should she do? The subject line is called Daughter-in-Law from Hell. Now, my thoughts on this, y'all. When I first read the entire email, I'm trying to be gracious because I know this is somebody who really wrote this into us. But when I first read the subject line and saw that it was called Daughter-in-Law from Hell, and then I read the email, I couldn't help but think the problem is the son.
Period.
The problem is the son. And the simple fact, I just find it very funny and coincidental that just last week, as we were talking about Martell Holt, not comparing your son to Martell Holt at all, but we were talking about how women raise sons differently than they raise girls. And then whenever they grow up, it's like always something wrong with the woman. But women should, have higher standards for men, blah, blah, blah. But the standards start with your son. So I just thought it was very interesting that you wrote in and said that you needed help on what to do with your daughter when it sounds like your son is grown. And if he's still on your insurance, that means that he's less than 26 years old, and now he's going to have 3 kids. So I think your son has some growing up to do. I don't think there's anything for you to do, but maybe tell him about himself. But I don't think the issue is the daughter-in-law. So what do y'all think? What advice do y'all want to give the tired grandma?
Ooh. Honestly, I feel like grandma needs to take a really good look at her son and ask herself, how did I raise a son that will allow a woman to stop him from being there for his kids? Because that sounds like a bullshit excuse to me. It sounds like y'all are allowing him to skate away from responsibility and looking for someone else to blame for it. Because as a mother, I'm sure you would agree that nobody can keep you away from your kid. So why are y'all allowing him to assign blame, or why are you assigning blame to this new woman and how difficult she is, when all he has to do is say, hey, I'm about to go and get my daughter, or hey, I'm about to go and handle this with my child. And if you have an issue with me being the parent that I need to be for my child, then I guess we don't need to be together. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. And men do not make those requirements because they don't really want to be accountable for those children the way they're supposed to be. They want to only be accountable for the children that are in the household that they are in, because they want to be able to do the bare minimum. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is at the end of the day. And to me, it sounds like you're giving your son passes instead of looking at him like, why would you choose a young woman that is this way? Like, all of this leads back to him. You are a young man who can't take care of all of his children. You are a young man that is choosing a young woman that is volatile. You are a young man that is not being there for the children you've already created and continuing to make more. So when are you going to look at your son as being responsible for his life?
Right. Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. It's not a whole lot else really that can be added or said to it. I'm just confused as to why she will write all of this message. Say his daughter-in-law from hell, but you and your husband sitting up there pretty much still taking care of a man that got his own damn kids, and y'all not, helping him or showing him the way to do better in that arena. Y'all just keep showing up for him, making him feel like what he's doing is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you a parent and you're not responsible? You can't even be responsible for yourself. Why you going out here having more kids with somebody else? So yeah,
and the first two are Irish twins. I don't know if I told y'all that.
Yes, and they less than 1 year, or they less than 1 year apart. 1 year apart.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The first two.
Girl, and then about to have another one, and then you want to talk about what's embarrassing because the girl is embarrassing you on social media because they going back and forth. How about your son is embarrassing?
Right.
Your son is, and y'all are embarrassing as well because you got this boy on your insurance. You taking care of this for him. You taking care of that. Y'all not making it tough for him. Y'all not making him especially what's weird for me. And y'all got to let me, I don't know what this lady got. I don't know how many kids she got. But what's weird for me is that he has his father and his mom in his life, but he doesn't know how to be a father with the mom that he got kids with, and then went out and had another one.
Mm-hmm. It's because he's baby.
What was he taught? Like how
this
was
Marie from Bell Collective? Let's let Marie play it out on Bell Collective next season. I don't know why she wrote into us, asking us questions. She knows we're gonna review the show. Marie, wait for the season to start. We'll talk to you then because we know it's you trying to figure out what's going on. Your son have more kids. You know he ain't shit. That's on you. Leave
Not
it.
Marie. Don't this sound like a Marie?
I forgot all about that.
Because that's the same thing that happened with her son.
It is the exact same thing.
So Marie trying to be slick.
Marie. That's Marie.
And she did everything for that little boy.
Marie
trying to find out his dad was.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem, because y'all want to do everything for him instead of allowing him to fail. And see, that's another issue right now. And I feel like that adds on to y'all not wanting to tell people when they're wrong because you think love means validating bullshit. I don't have to hold him accountable. I don't have to tell him when he's wrong because I love him. And it's like, no, that's not love. That's not love. That's doing them harm. Because see, you haven't held him accountable probably his whole life. And now as an adult, he has no reason to be held accountable because you're now protecting him and doing things that he should be able to do for himself as a young man who is creating these responsibilities. So you need to cut the umbilical cord, like somebody said in the comments. Let him figure it out for himself.
Agreed, because you out here like, girl, I can't. You got it, but you're right. I can't.
I mean, this is all too familiar for me. Y'all know I'm from the suburbs. Pretty much, I have to say, probably about 85% of the dudes, because all the black people used to hang out together, obviously. 85% of the black dudes that came from 2-parent households, majority of us did because we were in the suburbs, are these dudes. They are, that's what I'm saying. They are these dudes, but they drive nice cars. Why? Because your parents is paying for your insurance. They helping you out here, helping you out there, but you still ain't shit when it comes to actually I'm going in. I'm talking about the dudes at school. Don't take offense to your son. I'm just saying I didn't see it. Heard it before.
I can think of somebody specifically right now. I can think of somebody that's living a very nice life, and it's because they've been living with their parents since they've been living with their parents.
Right. And then it's also with parents who I find that a lot of the times parents who I guess they feel like they built a life for themselves. They are so concerned about image and being the ones that made it out that they're not really concerned with actually forcing their kids to go out and get it. They're just concerned with upholding an image, which is kind of like what this sounds like to me, because you are embarrassed by the baby mamas arguing on Facebook, but not as much so embarrassed about your son not having access to his first 2 kids, your son not being on his own insurance. And that tells me if your son is on y'all's insurance, then whose insurance are the kids on? So I think you're concerned about image so much that you haven't poured into him the same way that y'all pour into females.
To take care of themselves and make sure they have.
Yes. Okay. Well, I hope you got the answer you need. You said, I don't know what to do. I think you can't do anything. It's too late. He's a grown man. Let him fail. That's it. It's nothing for you to do. He'll figure it out. All right. So this next piece of advice I pulled off the internet. So I'll read this to y'all real quick. It says, I've been married to my husband for almost 20 years. However, I have been having not only a sexual, but an emotional relationship with his brother. Our love affair has been going on for 14 years. We were exposed, but we never stopped seeing each other. It's gotten so bad that now we don't even try to hide it because we will meet in broad daylight with no shame. How can I get caught up in a bad situation like this? I was that woman that always said, I would never. How could she? He tells me he loves me and he's never leaving me alone. I feel like I love him as well. I just don't want to hurt anyone anymore. I feel like a total failure. I want this to end. Please help. So,
girl, what are you talking about?
What y'all got to say for the brother?
Okay, may I? Let me. So, the brother got the good dick, correct? Okay. So you need to make the decision, but I feel like you already know what it is, which is why you still married to one and fucking the other, because you know that one of them is going to provide you with stability. One of them is going to act like a husband, and the other one is going to show up in broad daylight to fuck you at a hotel. So you're seeing that one has one's position and the other one has their position. And oh no, not the vehicles outside. That sounds like my vehicle. Hold up, y'all. Damn it. Okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. It's not the Jeep. Okay. Child, y'all know I don't play about the Jeep. It's not the Jeep. But yes. Okay. So I feel like basically what you've done is put yourself in this situation. So you have your husband and then you have his brother who you're fucking, because like I said, the dick is like the physicality of it all. That's the only reason why you would continue to be in these two relationships like this as a woman, right? So what are you going to do, bitch? Like, what are you going to do? To me, it sounds like you need to divorce the brother and stop fucking with his brother, because to tell you the truth, any man that will sleep with his brother's wife consistently for 14 years is a trash human being. And as soon as you leave your husband, he's going to show you how much of a trash human being he really is when you have 100% of his attention and time. See, right now, you're getting all the fun. You're getting the sneaky link part, and that's all exciting and fun. But as soon as he becomes the main nigga, you will regret making that decision. You will. So I personally think you need to just go and figure your own shit out and be by yourself and find someone else that can give you everything that you want in one package, instead of being married to one person and fucking another, because that's what you're doing. So go be by yourself and figure your shit out, since you couldn't keep your shit under wraps.
If it's been 14 years, it's a throuple. At that point, everybody happy because no one left. So it's not even like, to me, it doesn't seem like it's an issue. An issue would be I'm cheating on my husband with his brother. Husband found out, husband pissed, and so now everything broken up. If it continues and y'all are like out in public, it's just an open marriage. At that point in time, they are not shit. But I'm like, hey, if the husband ain't left, if she ain't left, the brother ain't left, no one's pushing it to really end. Because now they're just being open with this. I'm like, if it works, say, look, let the freak flag fly if you can, and just like it's murdered. And at that point, it's gonna go crazy.
Jaylee, I agree with you. The only reason I feel like she's leaving something out, because otherwise, why would you be looking to end the situation if it's basically an open situation where you getting to do whatever you want to do? Because the brother ain't saying nothing and your husband ain't saying nothing. But that's what makes me feel like she's leaving something out as to why it's like an issue.
And she said they've already been exposed.
Right. She want attention. I think, but I think if once you've already been found out for cheating and no one leaves the situation, at that point in time, everyone is okay with the situation. And she might want to have to choose. She probably wanted the husband to leave her. He won't. So now she's sitting on stuck. But if the husband ain't left, the brother's still around, and she hasn't left the husband or left with the brother,
what the problem?
It's a throuple.
What's the problem? This what you wanted, right? So what you upset about? That's what I want. In the letter, tell me what the bad part about this is, since your husband has not left you and you still fucking his brother. So what are we upset about? It sounds like you're getting your cake and eating it too. So what's the problem?
Right. I don't know how to help her on that one. She's just nasty.
I don't know. I'm getting very much small town slow. All three of them. This sounds like some small town stuff, and I don't understand why anybody with a lick of sense would continue to do this after you've been exposed. I'm just getting,
unless the husband, somebody said the husband might also have his little side shit too. And once you've been in a marriage and y'all got kids, y'all have a household, it's just easier for everybody to stay put and do whatever the hell they're doing. And then let it be an open marriage then. I feel like everybody is so negative when people say they want to be in an open marriage and then they go and cheat on their partner and act like they better than somebody because Will and Jada say they're in an open relationship. Let's go ahead and put it out there. Y'all be talking about Will and Jada. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of y'all are in an open relationship. Y'all are just arguing about it. Like at the end of the day, because everybody's still doing whatever the fuck they want to do, but y'all just arguing about it.
Right, like that screenshot you sent this week. The girl texted the side chick and was like, "Hey, do me a favor and take my man to dinner so I can go meet my sneaky link." A mess. Like I just feel like they need to be transparent. If that's what you want to do. And I think it should also be a rule that you shouldn't be in a throuple with brothers.
That's nasty.
Like, are they biological?
Like, why are you fucking two brothers? Like, fuck a friend. Fuck a random nigga. Like, but his brother, bitch, that's just nasty tea. Listen, nobody in that family respects you. Oh,
but the brothers fucked up too. Because it's
Jackson.
It's the whole weird. Oh yeah, they even.
They got the same girl pregnant. The same woman pregnant. They was married, both married her and got her pregnant. Yeah.
Wait, they both married her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I think it maybe was it Randy and Jermaine? I forgot which.
I think it was Randy and Jermaine.
But
I think it was Randy and Jermaine. And somebody recently brought that up. I was like, I forgot about this. It's weird because they all look weird. All the kids look weird. Everybody looks like weird Jackson's Indian kids. And you know the real Indian, not the Native American one.
Right. Interesting. I'm gonna go Google that because I want to see what the whole family look like.
I'm about to say you should. That's some shit you might be interested in.
I know, I like scandalous shit. That's why I like documentaries so much. I cannot. All right, let's get into gossip chat. All right. So I've seen this everywhere. Dana Chanel, scammer. That's what I've been finding everywhere on Twitter, scammer. But this ain't the first time that I heard of her being accused of being a scammer. So for those of you who don't know, her and her husband are influencers. Dana Chanel is the founder of Curl Bible, a hair and skincare brand, as well as Sprinkle of Jesus, which I feel like is the most well-known thing that people know her for. And she calls it the largest online ministry. Okay. So now she's being sued not for her Sprinkle of Jesus ministry, but she's being sued for two other companies that she owns, which is her Credit Exterminators company. They changed the name. And also for another company called Alakazam, which helps people build their own mobile apps. So with this credit company, they have it set up to where if you pay them, let's say $300 a month, they say they'll wipe so much off of your credit. So plenty of people who have reached out to her or either worked with her for business trying to improve their credit or build a mobile app say that they haven't received anything in return for payment. So that's what she is allegedly being sued for. I heard she came out and said it wasn't true, but I went to her Instagram and didn't see any comments from her at all. So one, are y'all familiar with Dana Chanel? I know she's been accused of being a scammer more than once.
I'm not.
What are y'all's thoughts?
I'm not. Someone brought it up and I'm not, but I do know about credit repair. And at first, honestly, I was like, what the f is this? Like, you know, because I got into it or whatever. And basically, like, you can just send in letters yourself to credit report companies trying to get shit taken off your credit. It's very simple. It's just that people don't want to do it themselves. So they're basically paying for someone to continue to do that on their behalf. So it's not always a scam, but sounds like what they're doing is they're saying that they're doing it and then nothing's actually happening. So that is a scam. But I don't know anything about her. I just know about the credit repair part.
And sometimes it takes time. So I wonder how long do they wait until they said nothing happened. Like even you're not paying someone to help you, you know, fix your credit, it still takes time for you to fix your own credit. So is it really a scam, or is your credit just so fucked up it's gonna take more time? So it can go either way. I don't know anything about her or what happened.
I'm familiar with Dana Chanel. I used to follow her years ago with Sprinkle of Jesus. But over time, I just kind of like stopped really liking her. It was something about her that I wasn't really featuring. I don't know if it was her hanging out with celebrities more or what it was, but it was something off about her.
What is Sprinkle of Jesus? What is Sprinkle of Jesus?
It was like, at first it started off like she was having like, I guess like devotional or whatnot, like readings from the Bibles and stuff with her mom and her sister, like on like video or whatever. Then it transitioned into like, I guess this app she created where she sends out motivational messages or scriptures and things like on a daily basis or whatnot.
Like the Bible app, but she made it real like hip. Like let that man go sis and it would be like a Bible verse.
That's smart.
Yeah, and then it transitioned from that when she hooked up with her husband, Prince Donnell, or Donnell, whatever his name is. That's when they created like even more businesses. Last year there was a lot of rumblings and a lot of talkings about her, so much so that people created there was a page created dedicated solely for Dana. I think it was called Dana Chanel the Scammer or whatever. So a lot of women had paid money, like $2,500, $5,000, and primarily the information that I know about is from the app Alakazam. Not so much as the credit, even though somebody did, you know, pay like, I think she said $1,800 in credit repair and never heard anything back or something like that. So with the Alakazam situation, it's a lot of different people that was paying $2,500 or more to get their app up and off the ground. And they weren't receiving anything, like they weren't getting feedback, like none of that. So when they felt like they were being scammed and they tried to go back to their banks to get the money back, they couldn't, because her dad, from what I've been hearing, her dad was one of the people that they would only be able to communicate with if they could get in touch. But what they were doing was, when you pay your $2,500, they'll send you a document. When they send you that document and then you try to dispute it with your bank trying to get your money back, you can't, because they're saying, oh, well, we gave her the deliverable. She paid for this document. And they like, no, I didn't. So that's what makes it hard for them to get their money back. But they paid $2,500 hoping to get like an app a product, something. You know, when you building a website with somebody, you're gonna have constant interactions with it. They got none of that. And this was multiple people that came out and started telling their story. So last year, what they did was they created this page, Dana Chanel the Scammer. Everybody started telling their stories. Somebody got in touch with the attorney general or somebody out there, and he wanted all information on everybody that may have been scammed. So they all collectively got together and started sending information to him. And obviously, he must felt like there was enough probable cause to go after her, and found more than just the Alakazam, but also found the credit stuff being an issue as well. And he said that she violated some law out there in Pennsylvania. So that's where they are now, with her being sued. And it was a big story last year amongst, like, you know, YouTubers and stuff, but the Shade Room and others really didn't want to post on it. Yeah, right. They weren't trying to pick it up because they were cool with Dana because of how she aligns herself. She even went and did Sister Circle and stuff. But now it's coming to a head, and the attorney general out there in Pennsylvania is on her ass. And if you notice, her comments are limited, because a lot of people would say, hey, I haven't got my package, like, yo, I ordered this, like, I ain't get da-da-da, right? So she would block them from what people said, delete the comments, block them, put her comments on limited. They started going after her husband as well. He got off social media for like 2 or 3 months. But what's interesting is he's not being labeled as somebody that's being sued in this particular case. It's only her, her sister, and her daddy that's being sued for those businesses. Her husband owns Jumpin' Jack Taxis. Now, there were some, what made him get off social media, a lot of people were clowning him because they felt like they paid a lot. So what Jumpin' Jack Taxis does is they teach you how to do taxes so you can start your own business. But a lot of people was paying their money and they weren't getting a response or anything. So they started to, you know what I'm saying, start clowning him. His best friend also came out and did a video and talked about how he stole the idea from him to create Jumpin' Jack Taxis, but we never saw where he sued him or anything. He calling
both of them scammers.
Yeah, so it's been
I didn't trust her husband when I seen him making videos this close to the camera, because you know he got them eyes. Mm-hmm. He got them eyes, so he be trying to like hypnoptize you with what you're saying. And I was like, I don't
like some stuff he say. Like I agree with some stuff he say, like motivational wise, but. Girl, I figured something was true when he got off social media for like 3 months. Like he just got completely off. But Dana, here's the gag for me that's funny. When people start making it a bigger thing and they started to like get the attorney involved and stuff, trying to get all the paperwork, she was pregnant, or either she ended up getting pregnant shortly thereafter. Now she's pregnant again with her Irish twin. She's pregnant again while this case is now starting and picking up. With that's just very interesting, but we're gonna see how it plays out for them.
And I figured that's why she was saying homework.
I think people be trying to you can't try to get rich quick or try to, just find somebody who's doing, like, figure out if the person really know how to do things and if they're really doing it. If I see somebody on social media, I need to see you have an active IG page with actual comments, with actual interaction, and people showing that, you're doing whatever you're advertising. If I go to my page and the comments are limited and it's only good comments, I don't like you, because even the best company has complaints. And when you make it to where your complaints are never seen, you hiding something. So it's like, not to blame the customers, but I'm like, stop going to folk who don't even look credible because you want to get something real fast. It's like, no, do your due diligence so that you don't get scams, because it be some bullshit.
I want to kind of pull up my video too, so y'all make sure y'all go check out the video I did on Dana Chanel the Scammer. But also note, this is another thing I did not like that she did, and I have it in the comments of my video. She pulled one of her workers, a dark-skinned young lady, and she chastised her about being on her phone and thoroughly embarrassed this young lady in front of work, the way that she talked to her and talked down to her and talking about how you train a child to go in a certain direction and all this other stuff. And I'm like, girl, you're not her mom. You're probably barely that older than her. Like, y'all just have to watch the video and see how she talks to this girl for about 15 minutes. Yes, she did. And she put it on her social media page, and it's still up there to this day. If you go to my video, and it's in the link at the bottom. I think I
put it in the description of this video.
Let me see if I can
be careful what you work with. I think people sometimes go, I think sometimes social media pubs certain people, and they so and so, out the blue has it's like, no, are they credible? Because anybody can pay for the shade with whoever to public business, but they don't really be no real business, and you get scammed. I'm like, girl, bye. I need some information before I spend my money, especially the amount of like 1,800, like that amount of money. No, I need some receipts of what you done for the folks before I spend my money.
I mean, and it's kind of just hard to trust influencers in general because people know that they have the personality or the credit to pretty much do whatever kind of business they want to. Just because you like the way somebody posts certain pictures don't mean you need to go buy credit repair from them. Like
everyone isn't a business person. Like everybody not business minded, and the thing could be she thought she could do things that she could not do. People think they can do shit they can't do. We see it every day. True. But you can't say, oh, so and so did this, I can do it too. Sometimes I can't build no houses. I can see someone else. I can't do that.
Not without a builder's license.
You can't do it. Or it won't go down. Right. You know, you gotta get a partner
without the builder's license.
Yeah, but it's like people sometimes I think just want to do things because even YouTube. People want to be YouTubers, but they don't know it's hard work. You can't just assume it's easy. Girl. So you can't just be out here being a damn taxpayer.
We were just talking about
Jaylee. It be some days where I think about y'all. No lie, I've been thinking about this lately. I remember the first time I got my first 1,000 views. I was sitting there, refresh. I was like talking to myself, like, it's 800 views. Refresh. And I used to be like, yes, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. I used to be so excited. I used to do my makeup at night. I still am excited as soon as I hit play. But it's different because now it's like
established.
Right. Now you're a little bit more established to where it's a little more work. So I always think about like how I was a year ago. How I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go film. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And now I'll be like, whew, let me go drink some coffee. Let me get my drink before.
Child, I drank coffee before we started today. I drank some coffee. Child, I said, Larry, please make me some coffee, baby. It's like 5 o'clock in the evening. Make me some coffee, please.
Then
I was there last night, like 7 on you do my videos. But I think people sometimes assume my skills all off. But people assume they can do things, and then you fuck over people who is trying to like invest in what you're doing, or just do your. They want to support you as a business person, but you fuck people over. So it's like no, like. Go to folks who look like they really doing shit. Like that's who you should go to. Like do not think because so-and-so does it that you can too. You can't do this or you can't do that or whatever it may be. You have to just do your own thing and not because you end up fucking yourself over.
Right.
And now she's gonna get sued and go to jail.
Like I said, I was doing a credit repair, y'all, and really all you do, like you're a subcontractor. You just give people to somebody that's gonna do the shit for them, basically. Okay, but I wasn't, after a while it was like, yeah, I don't want to keep doing this. And that was the lesson for me that I needed to do things that I was actually into. Now, to be clear, I never sell anything to anybody that I haven't done for myself. So I did that shit first and they actually did make my credit better. And that was the only reason I signed on to sell it to people was because it actually did make my credit, go up. So for me, I feel like it's always been important to only promote things that I've done for myself so that I never feel like I'm fucking over nobody because I never want to be responsible for somebody feeling like they got took because I don't like how that feels myself personally. So anything that I do, from here on, like people hit me up all the time. I'm sure y'all get these emails too all the time. People hitting y'all up. And you ignore 90% of that shit because a lot of the times it's not worth. Like I got hit up by a company. I'm not gonna say their name, but I really like the company. But I am at a point where it is not worth it to me to do posts just to get free clothes from you. I can buy my own clothes. If you're not going to pay me to advertise on my platform on top of sending me the clothes, then in all honesty, I don't really have time for you.
Because you can make the money on your own.
Right. I'm going to make the money on my own. So I don't need, I don't need to do extra work. And a lot of times they don't understand. You're coming at me so I can do extra work. Okay? For some clothes. When I can just go and buy some shit and not have to do extra work.
Like, we buy shit like we be like, look, I'm like, what we buy shit on GP. So like offering stuff don't mean nothing because we buy it. So it's like I don't need your free shit. I can back my damn self.
Exactly. Like I ain't no little ass YouTuber, bitch.
Yeah, no.
I was thinking about Ariana. I think that's Ariana Grande song. I want it. I got it.
Right.
Body.
Yes.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. She wanted to get.
I'll say one that came to mind. I bought my MacBook last year. I did.
I just watched a video too.
Oh, you see those videos so old, so embarrassing. Did 2 reviews. Thank you. Both of the videos, one of them is probably at like 50 or 60,000 views by now, and another one is like really. It's that video be getting views. They hit me up talking about. It's been a year since you had your MacBook. Can you do another review for us? And I said, do you want me to do a review on another one of your products? I'd love to. What you got? I didn't have it for a year now. What else do you want me to talk about? They're talking about if you could do another review on the MacBook you have. For what?
Right.
For what?
Right.
For what? Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, the number of people who watched my video and then in turn went and bought a $600,000-$700,000 product from you, and then you're telling me that YouTube could just pay me for getting you exposure again?
Facts, because I'm finna go get one. After watching your video, I was like, I ain't know nothing about these folks, so I'm all on the website. Like, okay, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, no, they really make the mistake of undervaluing influencers at this point. And that's why I only now, like, y'all only see me really promoting for Kiara Lachey. And yeah, I do the TLC and the ISOT shit. And that's because at the end of the day, when my stomach is hurting, nothing helps better than ISOT. It's better than Pepto-Bismol as far as I'm concerned. So I will continue to sell it and promote it because it makes me money. And I use it. But the Kiara Lachey shit, the protein shakes, the energy supplement, like I feel very passionate about her products because I use them every day to do what I am doing. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like when it comes to being an influencer, these companies have to come correct because we make commission off of good shit. We make a percentage off of good shit. So don't come at me telling me you want me to just pick something out and promote it for free when I can just kind of buy the shit and do that at my leisure versus having to fit your criteria and read your list of demands.
I hate that. The whole
that shit.
Yes, I'm like, I hate. I'm like, fuck your words, your keywords. No, and I hate.
Send me the video before you post it.
Yeah,
is it a review or is it a commercial?
Right.
So a review costs more. A review costs less than a commercial. Which one is it?
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie now.
You're aggravating.
We're at a point where we can make money off of our viewership directly through Patreon. And y'all know I'm about to get my own website. So it's going to be direct for me eventually. So we don't need to do promotion for companies that's not valuing us at full value. Y'all seeing us as a cheap route when at the end of the day, you getting maybe 1,000 views from me means real money being made to you. Because essentially the women that follow me might actually go and buy the shit because they trust what I'm saying versus seeing your shit on a commercial where they're going to fast forward through because they have DVR. So yeah.
And there's that.
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, we always got to have real combos like this because at the end of the day, you got to think like if somebody's offering you something, that's only a portion of what they're making. So it's like, I ain't no fool now. All right, so that's it for Dana Chanel. Y'all go check out Jamie's video if y'all want the receipts because she done dropped a Hot Topics video talking about that. So we will move on to the next hot topic, which of course was Astro World. Y'all, I was looking, preparing for the show, like what happened every single day, swiping TikTok, looking for trending topics, Twitter, everywhere. And literally this was the only thing people were talking about pretty much all weekend. So y'all know Travis Scott hosts an annual concert in his hometown in Houston, Texas, Astro World. It's kind of like a fair, a concert and everything else. And basically this one article calls it a crowd surge. Other places call it a mosh pit. It left 8 people dead and dozens injured. I heard it was more than dozens. People on TikTok were posting their accounts saying they saw at least 100 people passed out. So many different people are coming out and talking about this. So basically, they're investigating into Travis Scott specifically and what happened at his concert. The 8 victims are between the ages of 14 and 27. And currently, there's a 9-year-old boy who's fighting for his life. He was trampled at the concert as well. Jeez. So what I find interesting is people are looking specifically into Travis because people were saying that the concert goers were screaming at the cameraman. There's a video of a girl running up to a cameraman saying, "You need to stop the concert." There's Travis saying, "Y'all want me to stop?" And people in the crowd screaming, "No." Of course, it's really loud on the phones, but who knows as a performer what you can actually hear or see. Anyway, I want to ask y'all, who's at fault? But before y'all answer my question, there's an article and it's from, I guess I would call it a survivor of one of his concerts. My words, nobody else's. It's a man who left his concert in 2017 paralyzed from a mosh pit. He said that he wasn't at all surprised by the result of what happened at Astro World this year, which was 8 people dead, because he was trampled and paralyzed. And then they showed videos of other concerts where Travis Scott was encouraging people to jump off of balconies. He says, "Don't worry, they're going to catch you." And they feel like he incites chaos. So I feel like you can look at it 2 ways. Is Travis Scott to blame, or is it production and whoever ran the show? What are y'all's thoughts about the whole situation?
But see, this is the weird thing. I feel like 2 different things can happen, because when you're on stage, what you hear is not what is actually was actually going on in the crowd. So I feel like when I see someone say they was acting crazy before he even got on stage, well, I think maybe the people before me, it was like a lot of chaos too. But I feel like when you go to a big festival which does not have seats, it's just open ground. So I don't blame Travis, because 1, he not even out there. He don't know what's going on in the mosh pit with the people. He don't know that. And even though I've seen the people talking to security and talking to the camera people, that ain't Travis. So it's like you can't blame the artist who came out and did not know the severity of what happened within 50,000 people. And when I see people bringing up how in the past he's incited these riots or whatever, any rock and roll mosh pit does the exact same thing. And I feel like this has happened other times, but because people died this time, it's a light on it. But I can't blame an artist who was not the one inciting what happened. It happened before he even got on stage. I can't blame him for not stopping the show when he don't know what's going on within the 50,000 people that's in the crowd. Now, when the ambulance came through and he stopped, was like, "What's going on?" I do think at that time he should have stopped, but I don't feel like he knew what was going on. He just ignored it. I think he was like, "What?" I think he was confused about what was happening. But I don't want to act like this same thing has not happened before for other artists, black, white, or indifferent. Mosh pits to me is where you can get hurt, because there's nowhere to go besides questioning people at the front, because there are no seats to separate where you sitting at. At stadiums, you don't have this issue because you have a seats, you have gates, you have rows, so there's organization. But to make it seem like he created this chaotic situation based on the location, to me, isn't fair. I think it's more fair to say it was a big fuck up in general, because when they didn't have enough security, and when the people who were organizing the event seen shit go wrong, someone should have went and told Travis directly. But you can't blame cameramen who only job is the camera shit. I ain't security. I think people focus on what they focus on. So I think it's more of a everyone could have done better, but let's not blame Travis as if he did it specifically. That's my opinion.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jami.
I was just gonna say that I feel like Travis is guilty by previous behavior. So I see why they may want to put all blame on him. I do feel like it's primarily on Live Nation. With him being on stage, he wasn't really sure what all was going on. And that's why Live Nation hired the security and stuff. So he probably would have expected them to make sure they had everything under control. I think if he truly knew what was happening, he probably would have stopped, because there was somebody else that passed out. And he said in the middle of the show for them to get attention, like, security, let's get over here and see this person. He said, don't nobody touch him, let's see him. But I also did see, I will say, 2 black boys run out and tell him something in his ear, but I can't say that was about what was happening in the crowd. It could have been something completely different or a part of the show. So for me, I'm not going to fully blame Travis on that. I'm definitely going to blame Live Nation, because they should have done better. First of all, why y'all got 50,000 tickets that y'all sold for this event, knowing that we still in the middle of a panorama anyway? Why is y'all like, who said that that was ever okay? So I would put solely 100% fault on Live Nation, because y'all should have made sure that the layout for this event was planned accordingly, so that if there is an injury, you guys can get to these people quickly, and you should have had enough ambulance and security on site. So I think that the blame should be put on Live Nation.
I want to say that I agree. I absolutely feel like it should be put on Live Nation, especially after you hear that they bust down the gates and that someone was allegedly drugging everybody with a needle, like, of drugs. Like, they hit the security guard, and then they started hitting other people who were in the crowd, and they were passing out. And so this is when I take it back to Travis, because like you said, Jami, he's done this before, and I'm seeing in the comments people are saying he incites this type of behavior at his concerts. And all I can think of is when Selena was on stage and they were pushing people against the stage at Selena's concert when she was singing Come on the Floor. And she calms the audience down and gets everybody to kind of like chill out by the way she stopped singing the music until everybody kind of calmed down. And that was able to relieve the tension and help them do what they needed to do. So I feel like there is some blame to be put on him as the artist, because I 100% feel like Travis Scott knew what the fuck was going on in that crowd and felt like it's not that big of a deal because I'm performing. I don't think he thought people were dying. I think he thought people were just passing out from being high and loaded and drunk and dehydrated or whatever in the crowd. And I get that, but there's a part of this where when there's an ambulance and a police car trying to get people out of the area and people are jumping on top of the car, you as an artist need to try at some point to get control of your audience, because you are in control of the energy right now because you're the artist. That's the whole thing about performing. So the fact that he would only stop for a second and be like, hey, y'all need to get somebody, these people. And then a second later, you just start singing like nothing's happening. I feel like there should have been more of a pause. Like, I'm not going to continue this show until I see that those people are out of this crowd and everybody's good. And if y'all are not going to do that, then we can end this shit right here. Like, you're supposed to get control of the crowd as the artist, as far as I'm concerned. And I understand that it's only partially his responsibility. It is Live Nation. It is security. It is Houston PD. And the people that were supposed to be on their job and obviously weren't. But I also feel like there was some responsibility on him to affect the energy in the crowd because he was the person on stage with the microphone. And also the cameraman. Y'all, I've been a camera person, and I'm telling y'all right now, if somebody would have came to me and said that there's somebody dead in a crowd, there's no way that I was going to keep my camera rolling without letting somebody know what was going on. And if they were ignoring me, I was going to put the camera down, y'all. There have been several times I have been in situations where it was life or death. And at some point, you have to be a human being and not about this job. And to me, when those two people were trying to get that cameraman to do something and it seemed as if he was non-responsive as a camera person, that attitude to me is fucking ridiculous. I don't care about this check that much that I'm going to ignore y'all telling me that somebody is in the crowd dead. Like, I'm going to get on my ear and be like, hey, y'all, they're saying that somebody is in this crowd fucked up right now. I'm going to need to hear some confirmation before I continue doing this, unless y'all want this camera to hit the floor. And I've been in that situation, and that's why I know that that should have been handled differently, not on just the cameraman, not on Travis, not on just the security, but everybody involved. This can't happen like this again. 8 people died because so many people weren't doing their jobs. And And it's ridiculous, and it shouldn't have had to happen. And really, like you said in the panorama, there shouldn't have even been that many people in that vicinity, in that venue. It should not have went down like that at all. And that's how y'all know it's all about making money. Everybody wants to make their money so fucking bad that they're willing to throw away protocol and cut corners and put lives in danger. And now you're having to deal with the bad press, the lawsuits, and you're gonna have to pay for them funerals of them 8 people that died.
Yeah, for sure.
And he refunded everyone who came to the concert.
As he
refunded everybody, and he's paying for all of the funerals.
Roddy Ricch donated his fee with his fee to the families too.
I pray that number doesn't go up though with those people that are injured.
They said it was a lot more people that were hurt, right?
Like the video, people was getting stepped on, like literally. Like
they said the air was so tight. It was so many people there that it wasn't enough oxygen to just
that's
breathe.
why I don't do shit like that. Y'all, Mardi Gras often gets that packed out here. And there have been times when I've been like, nope, I'm fucking out of here. I am not doing this with y'all. When I have been on a job, if I am not somewhere where I can feel safe, I'm not doing the job. It's not that important. I don't care. Because y'all, I'm a little person, and there have been so many times that I have been scared that I might have gotten trampled in a parade because of how many people are shoulder to shoulder, wall to wall on a fucking street. Like on a street, y'all, on a whole long ass St. Charles street, and there is nowhere that you can walk without touching somebody. That's why I don't even like doing that shit. If I can't be comfortable, I ain't going.
Festivals are just open space. That's the weird part. Because when you like the aerial shot of it, you see like it's just like an open field. It's not any structure to it. So I'm looking like you can have 50,000 people because they're all trying to get the closest to the stage. And they said right when he went out, that's when everybody kind of rushed to the front. But if you're in the front, you don't have anywhere to go. Because you're just
the stage,
And it's like no. So I feel like if they're gonna have festivals, it should be better barricades. Or just don't have festivals and have that many people in that one little space. Because no one has any, you can't move anybody. And that's the bad part. And I see the one video, the one guy saying how I guess the VIP area, they're trying to pull people over to VIP, and the VIP people was like, "Which bitch, we pulling folks over because they can't breathe." So it's like I think the location was fucked up, and the organization was fucked up. Nothing seemed to be planned out with them being that many people. But sometimes you don't know till you know. So it's like now no other festival has any reason to say they don't know because you not have seen what happens when you don't plan properly. So no one can then say, well, I know you now know because it happened. Something happened. So everybody in the future with festivals, you cannot have that many people. You need to have better security. You need to have something in place where people have a place to go and not be just smushed up against a stage and can't move. And if they passed out, no one sees them on the ground because people are on top of them.
Everybody needs to study New Orleans when it comes to this type of shit. I'm just saying, y'all, we have 99 festivals and Mardi Gras all up and through the year, and you never hear a shit like this happening. Now, they might have a shooting, but it's never going to be a situation where everybody is closed into a space or the police are not in presence enough to affect the crowd. That's one thing I swear to God, NOPD has down pat, is being able to control large crowds in an open space. So at the end of the day, y'all need to get this shit together because this did not have to happen. And it's just so sad. And, blessings up to the family and the people who were harmed during this, because I couldn't imagine how scary it must have been to been on the ground being trampled by all of those people and not knowing if you were going to live, if anybody was going to find you. And it's just, and then with the COVID and then the hospitals, like just adds way too many layers. I'm sorry, Necey, Houston feel like they always be ill prepared and fucking up.
I mean, Houston and Dallas are two separate entities. Anybody from Texas know they like completely separate. So that's a sad situation, but I wanted to read y'all this one quote.
I'm not gonna give you all the Texas.
Right. You don't give me all the Texas. this one quote from the lawyer who's currently suing, well, the paralyzed concert goer who's suing Travis Scott. A lawyer said in this article, he quoted a lyric from Travis' song where it says, "And it ain't no mosh pit if it ain't no injuries. I got him stage diving out the nosebleeds." So they're using that as proof that he incites chaos because he says it ain't no mosh pit if it ain't no injuries.
So then that's a great thing, because I wonder how his attorney is going to handle that. So with that being said, it's like, so your client that attended this event was highly aware of the type of event that they were going to,
Yes.
and the possibilities of what could happen. So that would be real. I want to see how this going to play out in court. I feel like they probably gonna settle outside, you know. But I mean, probably. If I was like his attorney,
that's why you see so many of this. And I'm not saying this stuff should happen in any way at all, but you see so many of the rock star type kids who like rap music at his concerts because these are the same fans who like Tyler, the Creator. Like I remember that they kept siding, or they kept putting Tyler, the Creator adjacent to demonic energy, just like they're doing Travis. So if you go and read articles on this, people are breaking down images on his shirt. They breaking down this backdrop, see you on the other side, all kinds of stuff. And it's very, very weird.
On Twitter, I saw them comparing it like, oh, you don't see this type of stuff happen at these rock concerts. And it felt like they were trying to say, like, at white rock concerts, these things don't happen. But at the black people's rock concert, this is what happened. And I kind of felt like, I don't know. Because I feel like there probably been some really fucked up things to happen at some of those white concerts if we really wanted to Google it and research it. Because y'all get rowdy and upset just at football games and soccer games and shit, flipping over cars and setting y'all whole little town on fire. So the idea that y'all are trying to like demonize him, I don't know how comfortable I am with that. People who are saying he was doing ritual because he was singing during the show, I don't know how I feel about that. Now, I do feel like his energy is to incite this type of energy at his shows.
Right.
But I feel like at the same time, it's no different than what the white people do. And that's why he does it, because that's probably the type of rock concerts that he grew up liking and enjoying is doing that type of shit. But now that he's doing it, y'all want to like make it seem like, oh, the black guy is inciting, you know, hell and demonic fires and shit on people at the concerts. But really, it's like, no, he's just kind of doing the same thing he's always seen rock concerts do. And y'all should have had y'all shit in order so that nobody died. Like that. And then to me, I feel like a lot of those people probably died because they were injected with something. Didn't they say a lot of those people had heart attacks and it wasn't because of the trampoline? So it wasn't necessarily the mosh pit part of it. It was whoever was drugging people out there.
Yeah.
So be clear on who you want to blame and what you're trying to put out there. That's all.
Yeah.
This super chat from C, thank you, says Travis performed at the last Louisiana Fest here in New Orleans. It was chaos with the moshing. It was so packed, my friend was getting lightheaded, and we finished the show from far back. Never again, too old for this now.
Oh yeah, I've been to reggae. Listen, I'd have been a reggae club down there on what's that, babe? What's that? Well, we'd have been to the reggae club down there on Esplanade, down there on Bayou Road by my mama's shop. My mama used to have a shop on right off Esplanade off Broad in New Orleans. There's a little reggae club that a lot of people know about. And it's not that far away from the house where they filmed the Candyman, the original. So it's like a area that a lot of people traffic. The Lion's Den. The Dragon's Den. Was the Dragon's Den? Child, we went in there one night.
I've been there before.
You been there? Could not fucking breathe. I said, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. Because I felt like I could not breathe in there. Not only were they smoking, but it was hot as hell and it was packed like sardines, y'all. That's when I realized I can't be in spaces like that. So we're not about to blame Travis for that type of environment, because when there are a lot of people in a packed area like that, even if you're outside, that's how it is. That's why y'all should spread the fuck out and not be trying to run to the front of the stage and enjoy that shit from the back sometimes. From the back.
Well, I mean, we feel for all of the casualties and the people involved. So now it's time to move on. All right, it's time to move on to TVT. We're going to get into Insecure really quick, y'all. This episode I actually enjoyed much better than the second episode. We get to see Lawrence as a father. We didn't get no Issa this episode at all. And the birth of his son, Elijah Mustafa. His son was born. He didn't even get to choose the name. And we're pretty much just seeing the parallels of what it's like to be a woman who has a baby by somebody who you are not in a relationship with, vice versa. How Condola has to raise a son on her own, and how Lawrence pretty much just romanticizes the idea of being a parent, whereas Condola is getting the ugly end of the stick. We also saw them at the birthday party of Simone, or Derek and Tiffany's daughter, Simone. So, what y'all think about this episode?
It was a lot.
I think it brought forth a really amazing conversation, because I feel like us seeing that split screen of Condola with the baby being tired and, you know, dealing with this crying baby while he's getting pussy and being successful at his job and being able to like live almost a carefree life. But then we started off with feeling his angst and feeling, you know, like we're being cut out of the process. But at the same time, you guys, I thought it was important because I feel like it brings to the table that both people play a part when everybody's trying to find one or the other to blame. Women want to blame men, men want to blame women, but at the end of the day, we all play a part, right? So what I felt like is that Lawrence made the mistake at the very beginning by not moving to where she was once he decided to be a part of the baby's life. So she gave you the option to not be involved at all. And you decided that you wanted to be involved, right? Okay. So you needed to make the move to be in the same space as her so that that bond could have been created by the time the baby came. Him being on a date and being completely like removed from that process was a result of him telling her that, you know, play it by ear. So then moving forward, when it came to making decisions about the baby, it was, we gonna play it by ear then, nigga. You set the tone. Because once you decided to be a part of the baby's life, you were supposed to make the same amount of sacrifice so that you could be there for her, so that she would not be withholding the baby from you out of mistrust, which in all honesty, even though I was upset with her, I couldn't exactly blame her, because you haven't really been there and you've been enjoying not having to really be there because you don't know what it's really like. But I feel like that first night when she had that baby, he should have been in the house with her. So that was then her fault. You should have made sure that he was in that household with you once that baby was there. He wanted to be there with you when you told him, no, he couldn't stay with you. Because remember, he stayed with old boy and he was mad because he was like, I can't believe she won't let me stay there with her and the baby. That was her mistake, because that was the time to create that bond that you could sleep and then he could be there with the baby. And then you could create that trust. So then eventually you could let him take the baby without feeling like, oh my God, a week, it's like a year. So they both made mistakes. And I think it was a beautiful way of showcasing that, because so often people want to just blame one of the other.
I think where the breakdown started was when she told him she was pregnant. I think when you are broken up with somebody and when y'all were together, y'all didn't want kids. So that was the thing. And then pregnancy happens when she came to him at the end of last season and said, I don't need you for this, but I want you to know you can be as involved as you want to. I think from that point, she took it on. It's like, I can do this on my own. I don't need you. I think Lawrence listened to that, and they both allowed themselves to separately deal with the pregnancy. But he went on to San Francisco because that was his plan, and then she had the pregnancy. I think the fact that he had not met her family was like, they really were strangers. They were dating and fucking, yeah, but they really weren't a couple because he met her mom and sister at the birth. And I was like, oh, okay. So I do feel like Condola, because I never get her name right, always wanted to have control of the baby because I'm the mom. I birthed it. I've been carrying it the whole time. It's on me. I think Lawrence felt like once the baby's here, we can co-parent because now it's a baby here. And neither one of them knew how to co-parent. And while I felt like it was hard seeing her be the single mom, I also felt like it was hard for him not being able to be there. Like I said, I got to work to make money. So I feel like both of them were sacrificing in different ways. Even though he had more freedom than she did, he also missed out time with his son because she would not let him fully be a parent. I think people forget that the same way the moms have the emotional, the physical stuff going on because you birthed a baby, fathers sometimes have that emotional missing out on all of that too. And I think the moment he held the baby and felt like, okay, this is my son, I think he felt like, okay, it's time for us both to be parents. And I felt like Condola felt like, well, no, I'm mom. I'm going to plan A, B, C, D, F, and G, and you can just follow suit. And so he followed her lead. Okay, so I don't fault him for following the blueprint that she kind of set forth, as in she makes all the decisions. And I also feel like they both just did not know how to do shit. And I like when Derek told him, she gonna act a fool. It's fine, but you can't react how you reacted because it's the baby. But also like Lawrence saying, you can't tell me how you anticipate because y'all married. Y'all different. We're not married. So I don't have to be on her page, but we have found a page together. So I liked to see the discourse between them two, because for me it meant this is what happens when two people fucking around and get pregnant. And no one, because no one wanted to get pregnant, but a pregnancy happened. So he's not at fault for living his life because he didn't plan for it. He had already, had plans to do this, that, or the other, but he was trying to be there, and she kept like, no, no carriage, no. And it's like, well, damn, how can you start to trust him if you never allow him to bond with his son? So I felt they both were just clashing. But that's life.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Y'all pretty much said everything when it comes to Condola and this man. I kind of forgot about everything that happened between them last year because I was looking at Condola sideways, feeling away about the fact that she wasn't really trying to let him be involved, and she was like still upset or whatever. I just feel like, damn, girl, I keep trying to be there. There's so many dudes out here that ain't even trying to be involved. I thought that was messed up for her to just hit him up with a text like the baby was born. But I forgot about the breakdown and how things happened between them. So that does make sense. So for him to show up to the hospital and want to be shocked that he got a text, you wasn't around for any of the doctor visits or any of that. So then now you want to be there when I get ready to give birth.
Remember the nurse said to him when he walked in, the nurse said, the baby came early. So I wonder because the baby came early, that's why the text was shocking. Wasn't the same time.
It was, but he still was not a part of the pregnancy, and that was obvious from the sister's reaction, from the mother's reaction. They had never met him. Like all of that should have happened as soon as we decided we're having a baby together. And it's like they were like, oh well, honestly, I feel like Condola is being passive aggressive in some way.
I was about to ask, I wonder if whenever he showed up and he wanted to be a part of all her visits once the baby was born, I wonder if she kind of felt a way that he was showing that he cared for the kid and not so much the mother, because that's a difficult thing to have to be bitter about carrying a baby for somebody and you really don't have any control of his emotion. He only cares about the child. Like even whenever they went to the birthday party, she was like, do you want to go together? Which I thought was either she wanted to make it seem like they were in a good space as being a family, or either I thought it was her way of allowing him time with the baby while she could supervise. So both. I don't know. Is it both? Is she feeling a little bit of a way because he obviously wants to be involved with the child, but not so much her?
I think so. And I don't fault her for that in all honesty, because I feel like a lot of the times, like even on Black Ink Crew Chicago, I feel like Ford was trying to create this separation between the baby and Nina before the baby was even born. And it's like, because they don't want to feel indebted to the full person, the baby doesn't know what's going on. So they can be fucked up and absent and then get their shit together and come back and be involved, and the baby will never know. But the mother, you being responsible for her is even more responsibility, and they run away from that because they don't want to have to really fully be responsible for a baby and a woman, especially if they didn't sign up for that and a woman decides to have the baby anyway. You feel kind of like, bitch, I told you I ain't want no baby and you having a baby anyway. I'm pissed off at you. So I almost feel like he's mad, she's mad, but ultimately, how can you be mad at a woman for wanting to have a baby once it's there? You can't really be mad at that, right? So when I look at it, I absolutely feel like he was trying to create separation by not being there for the pregnancy and then wanting to show up and be there for the baby. And she was like, oh no, fuck you. Because I needed somebody for, here with me during the pregnancy just as much. And I feel like that's what creates the trust. That's why I said as soon as he decided to be a father and help her with the baby instead of letting her do it on her own, he needed to make the move to be there with her during the pregnancy, because that is when the bond is created between them, for the mother to trust the father with a baby that's not there yet. The baby's in her body. So at the end of the day, we know we can trust her with the baby because she's making sure that it's becoming alive. But once, the baby gets here, nigga, I don't know if you gonna hold the baby neck right, or if you gonna like drop the baby, or, the baby gonna fall off the bed because you don't know to put the pillows around the baby. I was mad at her when they were at that party and he fed the baby just any old thing. But then I thought about it and I was like, what if the baby had a fucking reaction, nigga? Like, if you had the baby by yourself for a full week and you just fed my baby any old thing and my baby had a fucking reaction and died because you just not thinking about those things, like I could understand all the fear and anxiety she had about giving her baby over to a person that she didn't know if she could really trust in that way. And I feel like it's because he did not make the grand sacrifice that she wanted him to make, but she couldn't really ask him to make when she decided to have a baby he didn't want to have. So that's why I said it's on both of them, and it's a tough situation. And I think everybody can agree that's why they were all over the place in the episode, with first feeling mad for him and then feeling mad for her and then back to feeling mad for him.
It's going to end one of two ways. At the end of the episode, I felt like either they're going to have to draw up a custody order for one, which I think Lawrence is too nice of a dude to do. He don't like conflict. Or for two, they're going to play house. So I think that's where Lawrence is probably at. Like if it takes him playing house to see his baby, I think that's what he's going to end up doing.
Honestly, I think he should move. Like, I feel like Condola gave him the out. So if you wanted to go and live your life in another place, you were given that option. But that also comes with you not having that connection. And that's just the result of the decision you will have to make. So I feel like he has to be the one to make the move because she is the one with the fucking baby. That's just what it is. So he has to make the move back to LA so that he can be present. And it's just going to have to be that way. Like, honestly, when you have a child and you really want to be there for them in some way, that's the sacrifice that you have to make, just like she's making the sacrifice falling asleep on the toilet while you getting pussy. Like, see how these sacrifices work? You're going to have to sacrifice that great job in San Francisco in order to be a father, the way she has to sacrifice her body, her energy, her freedom for the baby as well.
Agreed. All right. Well, let's move on to Ready to Love. So for this week, y'all, we got 2 new singles. We got Sean, who is 44 and an entrepreneur. We got Sydney, who's 33. She's also an entrepreneur. I was trying to figure out, what does that mean? Too many people on these shows calling themselves entrepreneurs. I was saying that I could sell fish plates in the parking lot and be an entrepreneur. I'm not knocking their businesses, but I'm just saying I need more descriptions as far as what it is you actually do, because Sydney came on and said that she knew Frank from the nightlife. So I was like, is she a bottle girl? Does she own a club? What is it? Come to find out, she has her own clothing boutique. So I'm still not exactly sure how she is involved in the nightlife, but that's that. Then we move on to Tyrone. Tyrone with the eyes. He claims that he has found a wife in Shiloh, and he already burning bridges. He's done. He told Sabrina, "You could be my lady, but Shiloh is my wife," which to me seems a little off. But probably a little bit accurate. Somebody commented on my video and said that Tyrone is probably on the spectrum, and I couldn't agree more. I think that that's probably exactly why he's so awkward, coupled with the PTSD. So I don't feel like he's playing games. He literally means what he says. Now, from there, we see Camille ready to cry. Camille, or Denise from the previous seasons. She ready to cry because Cornelius is having a conversation with the new girl, Sydney. Now, something is wrong with Camille, but part of me feels like something is even more wrong with Cornelius for allowing this type of behavior. Cornelius' red flags for me in the beginning was that he was a Christian and he wanted to get married before he hit a certain age to make his parents proud. That to me be like, I don't know. I can't trust no man that's getting older and you just want to get married to satisfy somebody else. Are you living the life you want to live? So that to me is weird. So both of these people are red flags walking, but I don't really see Cornelius moving on to anybody else because I feel like he's on the show for a wife. And if Camille is obsessed with him, he might be okay with that. Now, finally, we see Corey and Courtney. Courtney, I thought Courtney was too cool for school to allow Corey to play her. He's leaving love notes everywhere. And he ends up playing her and Mumin by asking both of them to meet his parents. Ultimately, at the end of the episode, both Tyrone and Corey go home with their lame asses. So, what did y'all think about this week's episode of Ready to Love? What stood out?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Jay Sean looks familiar. He looked like I've seen him somewhere, but I was kind of underwhelmed by the new people that came into the house. I thought it was nice for him to kind of, shower Miss Aisha with the flowers and stuff. That was cute or whatnot. But it was something that was a little off by him because it's like, how old is this man? 40-something? You ain't have no more kids? You ain't have no kids at all. And then when he was talking to her, it sounded like he could go either way. He could have them, he could not have them. But then when she said she absolutely, in so many words, don't want them, didn't it sound like he wanted them? I was a little confused by him. I'm tired of Camille. I want Camille to go. I'm not sure what's going on with her and the way she's on Cornelius's ass. She was acting like an 18-year-old. I didn't understand that. I didn't like it at all. And Tyrone, you get what you get. You got played. You played my girl Carrie, which is how I felt. So it was your turn to go ahead and go home. I told y'all Shiloh wasn't interested in that man like that. So I don't even know why she would break it down crying the way that she was when she had to send him home. So I think that's pretty much it. And Corey, I didn't like how Corey sat up there and tried to play Mumin for stupid. Sitting up there talking to this girl like, well, did you see me give this to anybody? Well, did you see? Like, no, he was just on. So I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. He was over there doing the most. So bye, Corey. I'm glad. Episode was cool though.
Agreed. Camille absolutely annoyed the shit out of me. The way she demeaned Cornelius, called him country, naive, and stupid. I was like, if you think that man is going to stay wanting to deal with you after you berated him like that on national television, girl, you're so lost. She's so lost. And Tyrone, I feel like, was being manipulative of Shiloh. Like, I think him telling everybody that she was the one and letting her know was him pushing her into a corner to make a decision. And she wasn't about to make that decision. I think she got emotional because I don't think she wanted to hurt his feelings. And I also think she was scared that he's surveilling her, because that's how I felt. I said, oh, he took it well because he's going to go home and then he's going to log into his computer and pull up her apartment on all the cameras that he set up in the vicinity. And when it comes to Courtney and Corey, honestly, I feel like they're like one and the same on the slick. Like she comes off like she's like that hot girl, but she's lame as fuck. Like you were falling for his lame ass lines that he would. Girl, you didn't know the Bad Boys for Life line that he threw at you talking about. I like that, girl. Go to hell. Like, and then the love notes and all of that, all for you to turn around and be this butthurt behind this dude that you really shouldn't have even been taking that seriously. If you were really paying attention, it's because she's playing the same game that he's playing. She's just out here trying to see what she can get to. She's just a woman, so she doesn't come off as thirsty because she doesn't have to. But yeah, it was cute.
I didn't have an issue. Look, the part of the show that I don't like is that everybody feel like no one can date multiple people. I feel like had Corey not been stepping and repeating, him wooing more than one woman wasn't an issue for me. I feel like even Moomin, who was fucking, because we're doing Moomin fucking with Walter and Corey, not an issue for me. I feel like every season people only want to focus on one person, then it's surprised when they don't find a person because you didn't really look at the other people. Like, don't come here and stick to the one person you like on day one. That's why Camille seems so crazy. And I feel bad for oh boy because he can't even talk to anybody else because she's always right back. Like, it's like, why are you talking to that man? This is a dating show. Everyone should be talking to multiple people. Corey's issue was you were using the exact same game on everybody and then lying about it to the people. Had he been doing separate things for separate women, it would have been fine with me. And I feel like what I like that Corey said was, why are you concerned about me and somebody else when I'm not asking about you and Walter? I think that's how most people should do this. Don't focus on what someone else is doing. Focus on what you want. If you like Corey and Walter, figure out, how that can go. So I didn't like that Moomin questioned Corey about him and Corey because that shouldn't even matter because you are also talking to Walter. So I want next season to be like more people being okay with not asking, well, who else you dating? That should matter right now. Like, build your own connections with more than one person so that way you're never left with a Tyrone. You're never left with, being the odd man out like Carrie was. And Carrie, who spent so much time talking to Tyrone, she hadn't built a bond with anybody else. It's like, focus on meshing with 4 people to get down to 1 by the end of the 10 episodes.
I agree, but Corey wanted everybody to meet his parents, and
no, I mean like Corey was on some bullshit, yes, but I mean, had Corey not been using the same shit on each person, his game would have been fine.
Yeah,
the issue was he kept doing the same shit.
Yeah, he was just calculated.
Thank you. He was sloppy about it. Because I was about to say, I feel like a lot of the dudes are recycling a lot of the same like shit with the women, but I think it's a matter of you doing things like writing love notes to one specific person at the pool party when there were going to be numerous women that you were talking to there. And then when they asked you about it, because it seemed kind of fucked up, you knew Mumin was going to be there and you were all hugged up with Mumin at the pool party. So why were you leaving notes for Courtney if you were all hugged up with her? So when she asked you about it, you turned around on her and were like, well, did you see me do it? Which was not the response to give at all. But I feel like he
knows that Courtney ain't gonna play herself in the way that Mumin would. So whenever he did the cards, that was his way of keeping Courtney entertained while physically being with Mumin, because that's what Mumin needs.
Yes.
So he's so calculated that to me, I feel like it's low-key dangerous. That's a big red flag for me.
Yeah.
Because you're parading around and showing emotion, but logically
you're not really connected emotionally. It's all from a mental standpoint. It's not from an emotional connecting place at all, y'all. And that's the problem with Corey specifically. And honestly, with a lot of the men, I just think some of the other men are better at hiding it, like Walter. I think Walter and Dante, as of right now, and probably Frank too, are better at like concealing that they're doing the same type of thing, like telling the women that, oh, I'm so into you. And the thing that makes it fucked up for me is I feel like the men do that so that the women will stop seeing other men as a prospect versus like it's kind of cheeky, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, don't try to make me only be interested in you while I'm pressuring you to only be interested in me. And I think the men do that a lot.
Yeah.
That's why he likes Camille. That's why he likes Camille so much, because Camille is only interested in him. That's why he's even like going along and still smiling and still talking to her and accepting apologies and still like, yeah, I fuck with you, you know, until next episode, hopefully.
I don't know. I got a lot of friends like that. I've had a lot of friends like that. But we'll see, whatever. Let's move on to the next show, y'all. Which is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Real quick, this was the beginning of Jen Shah's arrest. Before we get into Jen, first we see Mary and Whitney about to argue. And I'm with Whitney on this. Whitney has defended Mary more than anybody on this show, even when Mary has done things that did not make sense.
Absolutely.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Bondy, but it seemed like this whole argument stemmed from Whitney showing up to the cooking class and not looking a fool like Mary had asked her to. I was like, are you serious? Everybody else is dressed normal, but you want Whitney to show up like a paid stripper. For what?
So she could make a fool of herself and make you feel better about the fact that she wasn't answering your phone calls because you're at home lonely and she has like little kids to carpool.
Embarrassing. Mary got some. Mary unhinged. I don't know what Mary got going on over there.
Off the handles.
And then they start talking
awkward
about
energy.
The energy, Jami. They start talking about the accusations of people in her church saying that she claims herself to be God. And that's not the first time we heard that. We done heard Mary's family members who left the church say that about her as well. So I'm super excited because it's messy, and I'm glad that somebody finally brought the shit up, because I'm like, the one thing about the Salt Lake City girls is that they're so forgiving and they're so worried about image that they never get to what's real. And it kind of gets annoying because right whenever they get on the brink of actually turning shit up, they be like, I love you, we're good. And it's like, nah, y'all really gonna sit here and not talk about Mary marrying her step granddaddy. We ain't gonna talk about that, huh? Only Jen gonna talk about it. Next, we ain't gonna talk about Mary's church allegedly being a cult. So I'm like, okay, finally, somebody brought it up.
Honestly, I thought it was creepy when we talked about Mary, because in my review, I kind of talked about how she reminds me of women who, if they were not in Christian religion, would probably be considered like hoodoo women or witch doctors, women who would put root on people, women who would be very connected to spirit and to their own intuition, even though perceived as crazy to the outside world, but wielding some type of strong energy about themselves that draws people to them still. Because you have to think about the people that follow Mary, even though they know how crazy she is. It takes a special type of person to invoke that type of response from people. So there's something about her that is particularly creepy to me, because I feel like she really does have some type of power over people. I'm not going to say that I feel like she has some godlike power. That's ridiculous. But I feel like the energy that she has in some way is very similar to like cult leaders. And if you notice, they're very charismatic.
Charming.
Yes, very charming, and they can be alluring. Like there are moments where we like Mary. There are moments when we love what she's giving in the moment, even if it doesn't quite make sense. So that lets me know that people are reading real energy off of her. And I've heard that she really does kind of have a bad effect on people who she gets into it with, which is why people are so scared to actively say the things that she's done, because they do feel like in some way, if she sets her energy on you to harm you, she will succeed because of how intentional and how powerful she believes that she is. And that's really all it takes to be that powerful, is to believe that you are that powerful. That's why they say the mind is a really powerful tool.
And if you go back to the first episode where Mary's working on her podcast, she's talking to the other two men and she starts crying and she said, I felt like I was never loved. I felt like I was placed here for God. That's a way of you separating yourself from man. You literally think that it's something about you that completely separates you from everybody else. So when she said that, I was like, okay, cult allegations.
Yeah, that's not crazy. She out here doing some spiritual abuse and stuff to these folks.
Yeah.
Girl, Miss Mary. I don't know what to say, girl. I hate it for Miss Whitney. Had Miss Whitney up there in tears crying. I was like, Whitney, don't cry about that lady.
I said, whoa, white lady, calm down. Calm down. You're a Trump supporter. Calm down. You don't love her that much.
When she said, I love you. Okay, so now, y'all, we see Jen Shah and the ladies getting ready to go on a trip. And when they on the trip, Jen just starts acting all weird and says to Whitney, can you turn off my microphone? Then all of a sudden she says Sharif is in the hospital with internal bleeding, which I'm glad they saved that part from the previews because I didn't know she was going to lie to these women about why she had to leave. You put your husband's health on the line by even speaking that shit into the air and said you had to leave because your husband was in the hospital. I think she was lying. So anyway, the police show up, or the HSI, Homeland Security, they show up looking for Jen, and it's to be continued. She's on the run.
Yo, that was the equivalent to the human and adult. My dog is sick shit. My dog ate my homework. Like, I need to run home. Girl, like, I don't know why everybody was so caught up on that part, because I was like, yeah, we are talking about Jen is fucked up. Jen is a fucked up human being. Like, like the reason why they're going after her is because she allegedly stole money from actual people, right? Like from retirement investments and those types of situations. Like, she stole money from actual people, I believe. So at the end of the day, like, she's a fucked up individual. Her lying to these ladies about her husband being in a hospital to get off that bus and quickly into her car before the federale hood shows up is exactly in line with who she is. Like, I giggled. I was like,
crazy.
She got the fuck. I was like, oh, and then y'all, when we really thought about it, somebody brought it up. They was like, the way Lisa was trying to hug her and keep her on that fucking bus. I was like, yeah, Lisa told. Lisa did something. Lisa had some type of involvement. That's why Meredith wasn't there, because she got the heads up that the federale hood was gonna pull the bus over. Okay, and Mary's spidey senses was tingling because I told y'all the bitch is a witch doctor. She knew not to show.
She did tell Heather not to warn her. She did tell her not to warn her. Interesting. Heather was like, should I call her and tell her? She said no. No.
She did. She was like, no,
don't tell her. No, let her
I do wonder. I'm like, I was looking like, Jen, did you come up with that lie out your ass? Or did the person you were on the phone with gave you that lie? Because ain't no way, like, out of all of the lies you could have said, why would you say your husband had internal bleeding when that can actually come into fruition? Why is you speaking that BS on Sharif like that?
I think she came up with that in a moment, because I think when Sharif called, I think that was Sharif that called, and he was just like, listen to me, get somewhere where they can't hear you. Where are you? Get off the bus right now. Let me talk to you. The police just came here. They're looking for you. Okay. They know that you're on the road with the girls. They don't know exactly where you are, but they know you on the road. So if you can, get off the fucking bus and find a way to get back over here. Like, that's what they did, so that she could meet up with her lawyer and she could turn herself in, and they wouldn't be able to do all of this crazy shit. So I personally think, like, that's exactly what happened, what I just did just then.
Yeah, I think they ended up catching her on the side of the road from the articles from earlier. They ended up catching up with her. Girl, that is crazy. I'm looking forward to this week. That's amazing.
I can't wait. She a whole ass scammer. She talking about people's families eat off of the work I do. Yeah, I bet they do.
Yeah.
Y'all saw
I feel like her and Lisa.
That moment with Stu when she was trying to, like, invoke sympathy from everybody, and I take care of you and your family and all of that. Y'all know Stu went down with her. He was a part of this whole thing.
He was. And did you hear when Lisa said, "Let me call Stu"? That's what Lisa said when she told not to call Jen. She was like, "Let me call Stu."
I did not hear that.
Well, her fake ass. But you know, I feel like Lisa and Jen they act so similar to each other. Now I see why they ended up getting closer. They are like damn near the same person. One's not as loud as the other, but they the same.
I can't wait for her ass to get
I do want to say though, I was proud of Jen when they were at the Italian cooking class, the way she handled Lisa, because she was very communicative. She didn't get upset. She didn't like overreact. She said, I just feel like when you invited Whitney after you told me that she was being a bad friend, that hurt my feelings. And I just want you to apologize and stop yelling at me and bringing up your kids. I was like, damn, bitch, I've never heard you articulate your emotions that well. She was great. And then this happened.
I heard it like, you sound like you talking to yourself, Jen. That's how I heard it. Like, dang, you sound, because that's what she did.
Because that's
when
what
it was time to apologize, she brought up her kids. And I'm like, girl, you sound like you talking to yourself. But Whitney was ready to be on Lisa's ass. And I love when Whitney does that to Lisa. I love when she be on her.
I love that she was cute. That tan like suit that she had on when she came in there. Oh, bitch, you thought I was gonna look a mess? No, I'm not. I look better than everybody here. Okay, that's what I came to do because that's what I does. Okay, now let me get y'all together because y'all think I'm stupid. I am not a little girl. I'm a grown ass woman. And Lisa, why did you invite me, bitch? Why? I was just like, yes. I'm loving Whitney this season. I'm not even gonna lie.
She was my favorite from season 1.
From last season, yeah.
Because she seemed like she'll give a little bit.
I was like,
well, her friend is a Trump supporter, right?
Yes, but
not her. Well, we don't know if she is. She probably is, but whatever. All right, let's move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all. Love and Marriage Huntsville. In the beginning of the episode, we see the comeback crew meet up. And this is where this turns into the Mel/Martell show. The name of the episode is called No More Holding Back. Same thing, y'all, different scenario. They meet up, trying to come up with fake business plans to do work together again. All of the couples and families, the Scotts, the Holts. Y'all know that ain't happening. So Mel asks Martell where the kids are. Y'all hear me? Somebody take this, please.
Jamie?
Mel and Martell asked, Martell shows up and then Mel asked where her kids was, and he kind of felt the way that she kind of got smart with him, but she was like, I mean, these my kids. I'm gonna go speak to my kids, so that's what I'm gonna go do. And that's what she was. So I don't know why he made that a big deal, but she went go speak with her kids, and then she came back. We have Miss Kimmy who's pushing the combat group. Why she's pushing the combat group, I don't know. Maybe because she's having this yearning for real estate, and she decides that the best way for her to really get into projects is if she does it with this group. What else ended up happening? Martell, before we get to Martell, Mel says that she's at a place where she wants to stay where she was in 2019. Pretty much working on her own SHI. She don't want to be a part of the combat group. And then Martell, he hops in and says that number one, she never wanted to be a part of the combat group. So don't try and make it about him, because she also said she don't want to do anything with him. And she said, I want to go back doing what I've been doing. And he said, what? Not taking care of the kids, neglecting the kids. And that's when all of the BS really gets started. And then he goes and get the kids. Don't let them say bye or anything to the mama. Take the kids out, has to call Mel because one of their kids is crying, Miss Mariah. She was boo-hooing, had to bring her back so that she could talk with her mom. And he says that Mariah was crying because she's used to the office being both of theirs, and now it's just mommy's, which don't make no sense because, of course, those kids have seen that office before. I think Mel was right with what she said later on. They read your energy, and that's why they ended up getting upset and they started crying. I don't think it has anything to do with the two separate offices. I don't think so, but I'll let y'all pick it up, Necey.
Yeah,
I don't know if I covered everything you wanted to.
Yeah, you pretty much did. I mean, afterwards, Martell is in the parking lot and Marceau gives him a good yelling to and says, you need to work on this because this is lifelong. Outside of that, we see Tisha and Kimmy discuss the same stuff that they keep discussing, which is the text message versus the phone call. Then we end the episode with Mel versus Martell. And we find out that he was at a restaurant where she was on a date. So one of y'all can start off. I don't know which part y'all want to pick up on.
Martell full of shit. I feel like the show was to a point to now where the same things keep happening. They all together. Either Bill and Martell say something to piss the other one off, but I still feel like Martell always takes it 4 steps too far and going back at Mel. I think, even if Mel wanted to say hi to the kids and them having a conversation about the comeback group, how Mel didn't want to do it, him acting like she's a bad mom was complete bullshit. And I like Mel saying, like, why do y'all want to even work with him when you see how he acting? I don't want to be back with him based on not because of the baby or the cheating. It's because of who he's shown himself to be. He's exposing his bullshit in front of all of us. I'm over that shit. And I just don't get why I don't get why Martell acts like he don't know he look a fucking fool. Because telling Mel, who is your ex-wife, and showing her video of her on a date with somebody and, telling her it's completely insane. And, when Marcel told Mel that you okay because you winning, because she's not trying to keep holding on to Martell. Martell is like trying to hold on for dear life to Mel. That's why he's not succeeding. He is focused on the wrong shit. You have lost your wife. Y'all are divorced. Move on. It may hurt, good, bad, or indifferent. You put yourself in this position, so move on from that. So it's frustrating to see that every single episode, it's the same thing with Martell ends up just taking things 2 steps too far. And Mel, I feel like in this episode, had every right to react how she did. I do wish sometimes she didn't, but I get why she now has to, because he is just a complete asshole. And then with Kimmy and Tisha, I still feel like Tisha, who brought up the whole text situation, was one of the issue. You can't bring up something and then say I had an issue. No, bitch, had you not said shit, I wouldn't have commented on it. So it's weird to me that Tisha likes to make it seem like Kimmy's the issue between. I'm like, no, Tisha, your thinking is the issue between you and Kimmy. Kimmy was like, I've sponsored shit for you before. You've always called me. Don't make it seem like I'm crazy because this time you didn't call me. You text me. You did something out the norm. And I thought, oh, that's weird. But I still contributed to your shit. And you still had an issue. So Tisha full of shit too. But that's all I
got. Marcel may be ignorant at times, but I could not disagree with anything that he really had to say to Martell in this moment when he was trying to let him know after, they all went to the car and stuff and told him pretty much like, stand in this, accept this fault, like accept this issue. And like, you got to really work on yourself to move forward, because you're going to be having to answer to your kids later on in life for the BS that you done sat up here and put the whole family through. So I hate when Martell sits up there and he's like, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, good words. Appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. And it's like, it goes literally in one ear and out the other. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about him, because it's just foolishness. Like, how you have somebody come all the way from, where is it, LA to Alabama for a business meeting? You barely can get meetings in the city that you in. Somebody flies out from a whole nother state and you done jeopardize that because you still trying to have some type of control over what Mel got going on. And then you have the audacity to sit up there and talk about something, and I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting to see you with another man. Well, she wasn't expecting to get a divorce either, but here you go. You've been seeing this other woman for like 5 years. And however long, and ain't no telling what else you've been doing. But now that you done saw this lady out, and she could have been on a business meeting. It could have been a business meeting for her. It probably wasn't even a date. And you done sat up there and done messed up her stuff. Now, just because you don't want to have shit, that don't mean you got to go over here and mess up what the hell she got going on. So I don't understand. And the fact that he sat up there and he was talking to Fred about his business license, like, you a clown at this point. Like,
a scammer.
Get yourself in a position to where you don't have to align yourself with what other people got going on for you to be successful. Go out there and get your business license. Talking about you studied one time when you had the kids and then you sent them on their way. Like, you're not trying to do nothing. You're not trying to do shit. But you're trying to be carried. And I can't. I don't know what to say about Martell. It's the same stuff every time we talk about it. Every time. Tisha and Kimmy, that relationship is not repaired. I don't know when it's ever going to be repaired. Kimmy didn't even look at Tisha when Tisha was talking. She didn't even look at Tisha. 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 She d Kimmy was looking at Mel. So if that's not enough to tell you that she don't want you, Tisha, I don't know what else. She wouldn't even give you eye contact the entire time. And she wasn't finna hug you had Mel not said anything about a 3-person hug. So I don't know what's gonna happen with them, child. We'll see.
I gotta call out that in this scene right here where you see Mel and Martell talking. This dude is so crazy. You could tell that he didn't know that she was gonna show up speaking about the dinner that happened the night before, but he was being passive because whenever he answered the phone, he said, "Hey, Miss Holt." Basically, like, yeah, that's still my name. Yep, you still mine. That's what I felt like he was trying to do on the slide when he said, "Hey, Miss Holt."
He did know because he told the dude said, "Wait, she'll talk about." He said, "Oh, I messed up last night." So I think he knew exactly why she was gonna come.
Yeah, he knew.
Yeah, because he knew what the fuck he did.
He was testing her. Because then
he was giggling. He knew he was like, "Oh, she about to come. She about to come and argue with me because of what I did last night." Probably low key thinking that was gonna give him an opening for them to get back together. And when that lady told him that I am not your woman anymore, Martell, I am not your woman anymore. He didn't know how to take that. The look on his face. It was like a hit to his soul that he was not expecting. And let me tell you something, Marcel, you did this to yourself because I really feel like if you would have really taken responsibility, apologize, fix shit with Mel. And even if you had to wait on Mel to get back good with you, you could have went and got your business license, prove yourself as somebody that was trustworthy and calm and could co-parent. And eventually that lady would have took you back because she didn't want to leave you in the first fucking place. Right. She didn't want to leave you, but she could not look at herself on television staying with you after all of the disrespect. And especially now, like that's the thing about Martell. I really feel like she could have forgave the cheating. She might have even been able to forgive the outside baby if only he would have had the right mentality after the fact. Because a lot of women are kind of low-key wired to deal with these types of things from their husbands, especially if their husband is attractive. And you know your nigga somebody that everybody else won't fuck. So sometimes what you may have to deal with, but as long as they taking care of what they're supposed to be taking care of, a lot of women will like blind eye the shit. And I think Mel thought she could do that at first, but it eventually got to the point where, wait a fucking minute. I'm doing all the work at the job. I'm probably doing the heavy lifting with the kids so you can be out here fucking on coleslaw. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you lucky we got kids. Okay, listen. It could have been a homicide. I personally feel like we really wanted them to work it out. But Martell is incapable, and I really blame his mammy because he was never held accountable growing up, which is why he doesn't feel the need to fully be accountable now as an adult. He pretends. But that's why him and the Scotts are friends, because them niggas pretend too. I love the fact that Maurice was having that conversation with Thick Thighs this episode. I'm talking about Marceau. Thick Hips, I mean. Thick Hips and him were having this conversation, and he was trying to be smarter than the average 5th grader, and Maurice ended up schooling him real quick, real fast, to the point where he was like, okay, well, if I'm depressed in the future in like another year or so, then hold me accountable and tell me to go and talk to a doctor. But see, this idea that Dr. Francis is only good to talk to women, I almost feel like as long as somebody has common sense, you're not going to be okay with them. Because it's not about man or woman. It's about right and wrong. And you want to be able to be wrong and be told you're right. I'm tired of them.
Same old thing, different episode. We are going to move on to Real Housewives of Potomac, but y'all make sure y'all like the video up, because I know since everybody has been in the chat, are they talking about Potomac yet? Anybody come to Potomac yet? We about to get to Potomac. Like the video up so we can go ahead and get into what y'all been waiting for. Okay?
Do it like a Joby day. Do it like a Joby day, baby. Do it like a Joby day.
All right, y'all. So, high level, it was really probably three people I feel like were covered this episode. First, they start out with Mia discussing her stripper past, and then they also discuss Mia being a flip-flopper. Mia explains to everybody that she actually revealed the name of the club that she used to work with, and I forgot to Google it. It was called the Men's Club, she said, where they wore gowns similar to what she wore at the reunion. and then they would take the gowns off and strip. Okay, so you left off the main part.
Are you typing names, Jamie?
You know
Jamie. Jamie, are you typing it into Google?
The men's club in North Carolina is what she said.
I know my friend.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's see.
Yeah, because some of my comment section brought up how they knew about the club, and in North Carolina, they're still kind of strict about stripping. And at that particular club, they don't really dance. They can't even twerk that long because of whatever rules they have in the club. It's not a strip club like, you know, Ace of Diamonds or whatever. It's a gentleman's club where you go.
It looked like a lounge.
Yeah, so that's why I was like,
it looked like an upscale strip club though.
Yeah, so they said that it's not like a typical dancing club, but they do wear gowns and they can't get naked. They can wear whatever little shorts under their dresses. And so somebody else said they had, I guess, been there, and that is still there now, but it's an upscale men's lounge. So I thought it was weird that I'm like, do people not know that there are really upscale strip clubs in the world? So I just didn't get why they kept making. I don't like when they try to make it seem like strippers are bottom of the barrel, fucking for $1, and that's who Mia had to be. And she could not have just worked at an upscale ass men's club. It ain't far-fetched.
I don't think it makes a difference whether it was low level or high level. You were selling pussy. So stop acting like, you know, you on some high ground. Like, selling pussy is selling pussy. Whether it was in a ball gown or if it was in a 2-piece thong that is considered strings or shoelaces. Like, girl, whatever. At the end of the day, you married one of your clients after you saw how generous he was to another young woman. What that sound like to you? That sound like me.
So if she wasn't a stripper, she was an exotic dancer. If she wasn't a stripper, she wasn't taking off her lingerie that she had
called
on.
Her. Candace said she was a lady of the night. That's exactly what the fuck she was. Bitch, she was a lady of the night.
She was employed.
Well, ain't no wrong with it. It ain't wrong with it, but call a thing a thing.
Well, yeah, she didn't want to tell nobody that they took the gowns off. You take the gowns off. That's fair. I mean, you were just an upscale stripper. That's all it was. So yeah. Now, y'all, they also talk about Mia being a flip-flopper, and this is where Candace ends up saying that Mia lied about a lot of stuff, including her clitoral surgery or vaginal rejuvenation. And then whenever Andy asked her which one was it, she said, well, I had a lot done just because I wanted to. Mia, I like what Mia brings to the show, but I think Mia suffers from, you know, being a chameleon. You know, people, and I feel like somebody has to know somebody like this. You know, growing up in school, you always have those kids who are somewhat in the system, and you know, they just get in where they fit in. They either lay low and they're invisible, or they do what they can to survive. It's like a survival tactic. And that's what I see in Mia anytime she lies and tries to get in where she fits in. So Mia explains it as she says what she feels in that moment. She's a flip-flopper to me, but she's entertaining. Y'all.
Girl, she a fucking fish on dry land, flip-flopping her ass all over the place. She don't know what she want to tell y'all, what story she want to run with, how reserved she want to be today, whether she want to be a boss lady or be proud to be a hoe. She don't know what she want to be. Honestly, I think she just wants to make a splash on the show. I think that's the most genuine part about it all, is that Mia wants to make a splash on the show. So if that means dramatizing the shit she's had done to her coochie in order to, you know, make a splash and get put in a trailer, then that's what she's going to do. I think it's all for the sake of the show and being outrageous. I think she's great with being the, you know, the one who says, oh my God, I got my clit done. And, you know, me and G and his big dick and all of, you know, she's happy with that type of attention. That's what she's used to. So ultimately, she's just doing her job. I'm not upset. Do your job.
I think that the job Mia has been doing is the job that Mia is. You know, Mia likes to act as though, in my opinion, that she's better than others. So everything she tries to present it as though she's being real, even though she's been caught in numerous lies. But then like life, she gives me Karen sometimes, like everything is just so grand and all is great in her world type of thing. And I cannot stand
That's probably why they
Has it been entertaining? Probably so. Has it been entertaining this season? Yeah, she's been entertaining. It's been hilarious to watch her put them feet in her mouth for sure. But yeah, that's really it. She just likes to present herself at a higher level than what she really is.
While writing her own reads. I was like, why are you writing your own reads? Give us a chance.
And they don't even be landing.
I like Mia. I think Mia says stuff and everything she says, someone questions, and then it becomes you lie. So I like her this season. I think she was organic to me. I think the whole coochie surgery is like, who cares? It's her cooch. You know, I don't want to question. We question people. It's weird that people are upset for Giselle and Robin questioning when her surgeries, but people want to question me on hers. I'm like, everyone on that show has had surgery. So it's not a big deal to me to say that's a lie, that she got her clit done versus her labia or whatever her cooch is being done. I like Mia. I think she's a good addition, but I do not think she lied. I think when she would say things, they would then question what she said before she could finishing the statement. They did it with Monique. When Monique said, I'm looking for a house. Oh, you have the homes? No, I have 4 homes. I think the ladies have an issue with when someone's new, they question everything she says. And I think Mia did that because Mia says so much. Mia just needs to learn to not be so open with people who don't know her.
All right. So now, y'all, we move on to Giselle. The main 2 topics for Giselle is this house and Jamal. Really, it was funny to me because I felt like even Andy was throwing shade, talking about she had the 3 different houses, and Robin was like, no, the main area brings it together. But don't nobody really care about Giselle's house. Ain't nobody here to talk about Giselle's house. Everyone's here to talk about Giselle and her romantic life. So Jamal comes up. And I feel like Andy asked a good question. I think Andy paid a lot of attention to people's reactions last season when people said he didn't hold her accountable when it came to questions for Jamal. So then he goes back to the binder to make up for lack of last reunion and ask her about when did y'all break up. And from jump, Giselle is looking like a deer in damn headlights. She's looking up. And she's squeezing her lips together because she don't really want no lie to come out of her mouth, but she got a lie to keep up with the storyline and she's been telling everybody. So she's like, I think it was early this year. Earlier in the year, at least after the holidays. And then that's where Wendy goes, well, no, Jamal posted a video on December 17th and he said that he was very much single. And she says, well, we had an understanding. So then Karen says, well, basically you consented to be the other woman. So Giselle looks like a complete liar. I feel like it's understood that she's a liar, but ain't nobody gonna call her out to be a liar. I really did. I don't know what it is. Something about seeing Karen in the reunions and how she gets along with Giselle versus seeing her on the show gives me a little bit of a distaste for Karen, because now I feel like even more so what she does on the show is fake and for entertainment. Because when you get to reunion, she kind of has this undertone when she's talking to Giselle where it's like, all bullshit aside, like we friends, So when she was talking to Giselle and saying, I thought you were too good for him, that was really coming from her heart. And I don't think that she was being shady at all. She even said something about how her and Giselle had the best reads, even better than Candace, which made me think that Karen and Giselle are a partnership. So I'm like, damn, Karen, you playing me anyway. I think that Karen was right when she said that Giselle was too good for what Jamal was doing. Then they talk about this commentator. Wendy says that she heard of a commentator who supposedly was dating Giselle. Another commentator, she says that Giselle's not good enough for her because she does not have integrity. So, Giselle and her relations.
It doesn't exist. Her and Jamal wasn't a real couple for one. So the reason Giselle can say, I don't know, the holidays, February, spring, summer, fall, is because she can't remember what she lied about before. Because last season happened so long ago. I don't think she remembers what Jamal said, what she said, or even what the fans think. So, and I think she used to Andy not pressing her. So I think she thought I can just say, oh, after the holidays, that he'll leave alone, and they press the issue. But I don't think anybody, Karen included, felt like Giselle was really back with Jamal. No one felt that. The kids didn't feel that. The world didn't feel that. So I think who cares? I don't think she was dating somebody, either in Potomac, because Giselle seems like if she was, she wouldn't say shit till it was over or until it was on the show. She don't put out stuff for no reason. Giselle trying to say things that she doesn't have a storyline. She can't rely on Jamal anymore. The girls aren't the storyline. She isn't. Robin isn't. I think she's trying to pull for something to come about next season. But I'm like, it's a fictional relationship with her every time. The last real one was Sherman, and that was 2 seasons ago. So Giselle's love life is non-existent.
I feel like this is the first time I feel like I've ever fully disagreed with Necey on something. I don't feel like Karen's care for Giselle is genuine at all. When she talked about, oh, I don't feel like you deserve that, I feel like all of that shit is disingenuous. I don't think she really cares about her. But I feel like she does feel like they hold the placeholders as the two hierarchy on the show. They are the yin and yang, and then everybody is a minion behind them on either side. That's how they view themselves, if you ask me, which is why sometimes it can be, yeah, we're fighting, but we're kind of really cool because we kind of respect each other's position as the yin and yang on this show, and what has to be the villain versus the hero and vice versa, however you view it. But I think they very much understand their placement on the show, and that's the respect that they have for one another. But ultimately, when it comes to Jamal and when it comes to Giselle and her hypocrisy, I think Karen very much reads it as bullshit. I don't think it's really real when it comes to the Jamal shit. The Jamal shit is fake to me. That's why she's not emotionally invested. I feel like she probably asked him to be a part of the show so that she would have a storyline. People will leave her alone, and she could just be by herself without people constantly questioning why she don't have a man, while she gets to focus on everybody else's marriage and talk about everybody else's man. So I think he was supposed to be a barrier, protection from what the other girls were going to give, and he never showed up for her, just like Juan doesn't show up for Robin. So it didn't have the desired effect.
I forgot what I was going to say about Giselle. JV, right? It's non-existent. I do feel like the video Wendy was referencing, Jamal was saying he was single, as in, I'm not married to nobody, but I'm single. It wasn't that he was saying that he wasn't in a relationship with Giselle. He was just saying, I'm single because I'm not married. Because that video resurfaced, and that's right. But I mean, the fact that she couldn't come up with nothing was like, girl, something not right. You lying on one of these ends, okay? You either lying about the being okay with him cheating or whatever, or you lying about the relationship as a whole. And it's not adding up. My main issue with Giselle is this. Whenever we ask you about stuff that pertains to you, you give us I, A, E, nominal P, or like you give us that, but you don't give us nothing. You have so much to say about everybody else, but nothing for yourself. And that's becoming exhausting. And it's giving me Nene. Y'all remember how Nene used to sit up there and felt like she didn't want to say nothing, she didn't have nothing.
That's exactly what it is.
I would love to, style.
That's exactly what it is.
I would love to style her. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. She just said
I press play. I am the play button. So if I don't have nothing to say, ain't nothing gonna go down. Is what she was trying to give. And it was funny as hell whenever Robin knew Giselle was being pressed. Robin ain't no fool. We've obviously seen that whenever Robin's by herself. Robin felt bad for her friend in that scene when they were pressing her about not feeling bad about Jamal cheating.
Robin,
and that's when she starts getting loud.
She started worrying about Robin. Just
say it louder, Jaylee. Say it louder.
Robin keeps thinking about Giselle can handle her own shit. Robin, you have nothing going on. The show don't need you. Don't buck up for Giselle. It's gonna make you look dumb.
Thanks. And that's what she did. She thought she was protecting Giselle from looking crazy when she said, everybody doesn't have the same emotions. Okay, but what did you bring to the table, Robin? Nothing. Not even a coaster.
Not even Juan Dixon. He's never here. And I don't think he was at the reunion. I don't remember seeing him sitting back to the guys.
For
I
what?
think this Chris was on that side.
For what? To talk about her two lines? Her 2 lines the whole season? Girl, bye. There's nothing to talk about. You and Juan aren't in a relationship just like Jamal and Giselle aren't in a relationship. It's just that Jamal doesn't give a fuck enough to be in a household with 2 small children. Like, he didn't care enough to be there like that. Juan cares enough to want to be there in the household with those kids. That's the only reason why they're still together. The kids. They're doing it for the kids.
The last thing we get into this reunion is, of course, Candace. So before the reunion even started, y'all, the clip was going viral of Andy asking Candace, how's that working for you? Using your mouth to defend yourself. How's that working? And she says, she says, are you saying that I'm the reason why I was assaulted? And he said, well, you were almost assaulted last season. So everybody was going in on that. We'll talk about that. They also talk about music. Candace lets us know that her mom and Chris no longer have a relationship because he saw all the shit she was talking on reality TV. And she said that she cursed her mama out, the toxicity. But yeah, they also talk about Mia. But besides that, I feel like the biggest thing with Candace had to be the, how's that working for you, from Andy. So what do y'all think about Andy trying to, I guess, set a standard of morale for what the women can say versus how he does otherwise?
Bullshit. I think it depends. I think it depends on his intent. I think Candace has gotten a lot of flack for what she say. And so sometimes you keep getting a lot of flack for what you say, you tilt a little bit so that you don't catch as much shit, but you still be yourself. I think Candace hasn't altered her approach to how she go at people just so that she can still be her, but not catch so much flack. And it's like, I think Candace is the worst on Twitter, but she also cries too much. The issue I have the most with Candace is Candace will be the aggressive one when she's going back and forth, but then she'll cry after the back and forth of whatever it is. And I'm like, either be the big bad bitch you're gonna be and be big bad about it, but you can't do that and then cry. So it'd be like, you can't want to be, the wordsmith, but you can't handle what happens when your mouth gets too reckless. Like, you can't do both. You can't be the aggressive, wordsmith, but also the crybaby at the end of the day. That's my issue with Candace. She never wants to accept that she played any role in whatever happens that has to do with her. It doesn't make it her fault, but you have to claim some accountability. And she never does. So I think, to me, his question was, how you keep working the exact same way working for you? Because if you keep doing it the same way, you're going to keep getting the same results. And you keep getting more and more flack because you haven't tilted a little bit. I think in life, even on YouTube, sometimes we have to tilt. We can't cuss as much. We have to figure out how to get our point across without being sometimes so abrasive so that we get paid with our ass. So it just depends on how you want to get better within the realm of what you're working at. You may not be able to get booked as much if the fans hate you.
I understand whatever you say, tilt a little bit, because that was the point I was making for Candace. I think that she, I don't even want to say edit herself like Giselle. I think that she can change her level of 0 to 100 to 0 to about 50 in order for her to be heard. I feel like she does it so much to where she's not heard. But Candace hit the nail on the head when she said to everybody, I'm always the one responding. So it's crazy to me that everybody can comment on how she responds and say that that's the ultimate issue rather than her having to respond in the first place. So I'm okay with her responding. I'm okay with, I would have to say, probably half of her reactions, but I do think that there's definitely some room for her editing so that way she can be heard and people don't really get the chance to ridicule her as much.
Gotcha. I have nothing at the moment.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and do it. So Here's the thing. Even though I completely agree that she doesn't take accountability, I think the problem comes in when everybody sits on the stage and tries to act as if Candace has committed some huge assault by saying your mama to Mia, and then making it seem as if her mouth is now a garbage dump that we didn't notice was there last season when she got into the fight. The thing that kills me is that y'all are more mad about her saying your mama to Mia than y'all are about the fact that she also played a part in the physical altercation with Monique, the way I said last season, and everybody was like, no, she was attacked. And now we're in this season, and now everybody wants to be like, fire Candace and dethrone Candace. And I just feel like, no. Okay. At the end of the day, Candace's mouth is not the problem per se. On Twitter, she is worse, like Jay Lee said. But on the show, her mouth is not exactly the problem. The fact that she gets so upset and so emotional and it gets heightened to a place where she's willing to forget that she's not a fighter in order to prove the point that you're not about to punk her. And as a small Black girl, I understand what it feels like to feel like, bitch, you're not about to punk me, so I'm going to take it all the way there. But the thing you learn when you're hood adjacent is that when you're going to get that way and you get into these fights, you got to learn how to fight, or you got to be able to accept that you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Friday. So at the end of the day, like Jay Lee said, there are consequences to the way you handle yourself. So like I was saying last season, talk your shit, but talk your shit from a distance. And when you get into it with Mia, don't start throwing shit and putting your hands in people's face and doing all of this physical shit when you're really not about that fighting. And then we got to deal with you calling the police and saying that you were attacked and not taking accountability, which is why you're in another situation where they're now having the opportunity to blame you exclusively for something that this time wasn't even really all your fault, because Mia wanted it with you because she wanted to be seen. And she knew that you were an easy target because you don't know how to fully control yourself once you get that upset. So yeah, Candace, please do us all a favor and work on yourself so they can no longer put you in this position. But I also feel like the colorism is at play. And they're going to find a way to blame her when it comes to her getting in arguments against certain people. They're going to find a way to make her out to be the bad guy, because at the end of the day, I see Mia for exactly who she is. Mia is not a fucking victim. Mia is not scared about her mama relapsing. None of this shit that they're trying to act like is a real thing for her is actually not. She doesn't give a fuck. I don't think Mia's emotions are even set up that way for her mom, for her to be worried about her mama relapsing. Mia probably feel like, bitch, if you relapse, that's on you. Okay, at the end of the day. But she knows that it aids in her on this show looking like a not that bad person. If you do this to my mom, like, it's all for stunts and shows when it comes to Mia, as far as I'm concerned. And Candace needs to learn how to read people and act accordingly instead of allowing them to take her into this emotional state.
Well, is that all y'all have on the reunion? No comment, Jami? You good?
I'm trying to see. I think my issue is more so when people say that it's her mouth. I'm glad Bondy pointed out, primarily, y'all get her mouth on Twitter. Y'all don't get her mouth that much on the show. So where's like, that's the issue for me. And I think more so is the fact that the standard is not held across the board for all of the housewives. Portia has gotten more than one fight on Real Housewives. Portia has accused somebody else of RAPE and turned around and got her own show. So I really don't want to hear shit about how she really should carry herself or how she should act. For real, because it's been proven that you can act a damn fool and still be out here and get a spinoff, and not just one, multiple of them. So, I mean, you know, it's all full of fucking niggatry. What Rox be saying, basically, just because y'all don't like her. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I be feeling like, honestly, they not going that. It's funny for Giselle or anyone to say Candace should edit herself, but y'all don't edit yourselves. So why should she have to sit up there and edit herself? Y'all don't edit yourselves. And then it's the fact that y'all continue to overlook the actions of Ashley all of these years, to overlook the actions of her husband of all of these years, but then y'all want to put all this extra weight on Candace. But let's be honest, the reason y'all so pressed about her, because y'all wasn't talking about her before until this incident happened with Mo, and Mo made the decision for her to walk away from the show. It was her decision for her to walk away. So how y'all gonna be still mad at Candace for that? And then y'all want to say it was her mouth. Well, I mean, what mouth? What was it? You talking about the stuff that she said on Twitter. We're focusing on the show.
Exactly.
It's not adding up for me.
It's not.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially when Giselle said, now I saw the benefit in Candace editing herself only for her to be heard, right? But then the next hurdle for her to tackle is obviously the colorism, like y'all said. I had always heard about the colorism, but the one episode where Giselle was arguing with Wendy on that boat and kept calling her aggressive and angry and stuff like that. I was like, this is so ugly. And then on the same trip, whenever the whole situation happened with Mia, Giselle says to Candace, yeah, I meant to talk to you about that. Who is Giselle to have any type of meter for what's right and what's wrong? And clearly, she doesn't show the same disdain for Candace that she does for Wendy, because Candace puts herself in a place that's sub or inferior to Giselle. And that's exactly where Giselle belongs in her mind, because she's a colorist. So y'all, I always tell y'all, anytime it's something at play, I always have to call out what I'm seeing about Giselle in that moment, because Giselle doesn't see the need to edit herself, because she's not a fighter of the mouth. She's a pot stirrer, and she does shit behind the scenes.
She manipulates the group.
She manipulates the group, yes. And based off go ahead, Jamie.
That's what I want Candace to sit back and pay attention to. On your break, Candace, you may need to go back and watch Real Housewives from the moment you've been on this show up until now, because a lot of the SHI that you have been in is because of Giselle.
Yes.
So you should go back and like watch, like, how you Mo mad at Ashley, and I understand Ashley should not have come into that house. I get it. But Giselle brought that girl back into your house. So you should go back and really just watch some stuff.
I'm gonna tell you why. Candace knows, but Candace also is playing politics on this show. See, everybody forgets that Candace was trying to be Miss America and all of that. She knows about playing politics, and she knows that no matter what Giselle does, Giselle is going to be in that seat next to Andy. So it's not just about acquiescing to Andy or acquiescing to the viewership or even acquiescing to Bravo and the executives. It's also about making sure she's on a good basis with Giselle, because if not, Giselle will find a way to get her kicked off the show. Or antagonize a situation to get her put in that place. That's why it's very important for her to get her anger under control, so that they're not able to put her in that position, because they will continue to try to put her in that position if they know that they can. So she very much has to learn how to handle the way they set up the group. But I think she knows exactly what Giselle and them are doing, but she knows she has to play her position with them, because if she tries to go after them, then it's not going to work for her the way it worked for Karen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why Robin is still there.
And that's why Mia fell in line. That's why Mia fell in line. And that's why Wendy is sitting next to Andy this season, because she's the only one that was like, you know what? I'm not doing that shit. Besides Karen, but Karen's underlying mutual respect for Giselle is what, kind of takes her off the table as someone that's actually rebelling, because y'all have an underlying respect for one another. And I think Wendy at this point is like, oh, fuck her. I see her now. Fuck her. Yes, she has the attitude we wanted Monique to have last season.
And that's why Candace is cool with Wendy. Wendy is saying the things that Candace sees, but because Candace is trying to assert herself on the right side, which she thinks is the right side, she gonna allow Wendy to say all of it. And it's like, I have to say I'm disappointed, because I keep using the word disappointing when it comes to Candace, because I just want her to be smarter. And this is the same way I felt about Monique last season. for me, it was never about Monique and Candace. It was about Monique and Giselle and what was going on. And I was disappointed because she got played. You played yourself. And that's what Candace is going to end up doing ultimately, because they will use her like a pawn. And G, as Andy greeted her at the beginning of the reunion, will be sitting right there. Right.
You heard that, huh? I heard
like
that.
they good old friends.
G. I said, oh, you got nicknames for this bitch? Oh, okay.
I said, what's up, G?
Ooh, I was like, ooh, the colorist,
Well,
she don't give not a goddamn thing.
That's all we got for part 1. I guess we gonna figure out what's going on with part 2, 3, 4.
Child, all I know is I can't wait for Wendy to put out the cardboard cutout so Robin can be like, you paid for that? And it's like, yeah, bitch, because she can afford it.
Right?
I know you don't know what that's like.
I'm just ready to see Wendy continue to get Giselle together, because if anybody gonna stay on her neck, because clearly it's not gonna be Karen. Clearly Karen's not gonna stay on her neck.
She's tired.
Going to be Wendy. I did find it interesting though. I was like, why Wendy sitting next to you when she only been on the show for 1 season and she ain't even give a whole lot this season? So how you got Miss Candace sitting to the left of Giselle, but she's the veteran and had more going on the show, and she wasn't sitting in that seat? You might as well have put Karen back over there. Why you put Wendy right there?
That was punishment. That's what that was. To me, if you think about it, it was punishment because Andy doesn't like the fact that people are always tweeting him and telling him to fire Candace. That's so upsetting to him.
But we tell him to fire Lisa Rinna too. And
tell him
Teresa
to fire Robin.
He probably don't get it as
every
much.
season. Every season we've said fire Robin. Why haven't you listened to us? And why do you not turn to Robin and Wine and say you're not giving anything? People are tired of it. We've been saying it for seasons. Now you care about what we have to say? Fuck out of here, Andy. Only when it's convenient for you to use it to browbeat somebody, huh?
Thanks.
Crazy.
Well, y'all be sure to follow all of us on social media. Follow our shared Instagram page, OohLadiesFirstPanel, for official updates. Like I told y'all today, make sure your notification bells are turned on for Instagram, turned on for all our social media accounts. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Email us at OohLadiesFirstPanel@gmail.com for advice or anything like that. Any questions? Follow Bondy at Bondy Blue. Jami ThatsMe at Jami ThatsMe. Jaylee's Corner on YouTube.
That's the old one. This is Jaylee's Corner now.
Okay. I thought I updated it. Take away the underscores. And follow me at Necey Dixon. Okay. Correct social media contacts are in the description box in the bottom of the video. So with that being said, y'all, I had a good night.
Me too.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right. Bye.